Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Tabletop Notch.
Hi.
It's 10 minutes. Same welcome back. Tonight's episode will be Chapter 73 of A Peek Beneath the Veil.
Whoa-wee.
Things are heating up in Navikapura as the leads continue to grow and the clues continue to be scattered all across the 4 townships of Navikapura. But before we dive in today, is there anything people want to say? Shout-outs, things?
The podcast?
No, please do.
Oh,
I didn't think I was going to do anything. I was eating gummy bears. I was like, I got nothing.
So, it just did really well last week.
The podcast is up and running. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on Spotify. We're on Anchor. You can check out episode Genesis 41 through present day. Catch it on your commute. Catch it in class. Catch it at the gym.
Oh, the gym's a good one.
The rowing machine.
That's a good one.
Oh, interesting. Give it a review.
Put it on half speed. You sound drunk.
I've seen some of the reviews.
I think a link.
5 stars
It's up
all
right
around.
now. Right now.
Oh, there it is.
There it's
Oh,
gone.
it's gone.
There is a link that shows up on the chalkboard every now and then. So yeah, check out the podcast.
Guys, great days
Yeah.
today.
Oh,
Great
boy.
days.
Here we go.
National Cake Decorating Day.
Oh.
Pull out that icing, get your spatula, and get to work. Maybe some sprinkles if you're feeling fancy.
Okay.
If you know anyone who likes a good purse, briefcase, satchel, it's National Handbag Day.
Oh.
National Handbag Day. Celebrate all the bags that you take around with you every day.
These were the good ones.
A quick one. National Hug a Drummer Day, if there's a drummer in your life. But the most important, and a way to just really settle in and have a relaxing Sunday to watch us, it's World Mental Health Day. Very important to take care of your mental health. Reach out if you need someone.
Escape into a fantasy world.
Escape into a fantasy, meditate, you know.
That's carefree and there's no...
Self-care, make yourself a cake.
Also,
Make yourself a cake, buy yourself a purse.
happy Thanksgiving to everyone
yes.
in Canada.
Happy
That
Thanksgiving.
was going to be my final one, but sure,
That's
John.
Well, that's
fine.
5 days.
That's
I
absurd.
know.
You were already at 4. I thought
I
you
had
forgot.
to cut that, so thank you, John, for taking that pressure off.
About my fan.
And Matt won't yell at me now.
If you look at the contents of your purse inside of a purse, it's a perception check.
On that note, roll that intro.
You don't get to roll that. I roll that intro. Let's roll that intro. We'll see you on the other side.
What have you done? What have you done?
Welcome back, everybody. Strap in, because this one's a doozy. There was a lot that happened last episode. In chapter 72, Headbangers and Cliffhangers, the party split in two and went their separate ways. Graven and Beezaura to the coastal township of Wamparani-Na, and Erland, Safira, and Orba to the west, where they'd mosey on through Nakuzi on their way to meet with Celis. The roads themselves were safe to traverse, but not without incident, as the Na-Upa-bound group spotted a pair of notable travelers on the first leg of their journey. First, a tattoo artist named Butez was looking for someone who knew the spell Mending, as he'd splintered the tools he commissioned from a Fletcher in Nagarwas. Unfortunately, the party member that had access to that kind of magic was not with us, though his business was of some interest to us, especially to Erland, who had a certain marking he wasn't particularly fond of, or at least not fond of others seeing it for what it was. A little further along the road, and Safira recognized the mysterious halfling Pibrof Ladzur Vodzethengi, the same that tipped us off to the pawn chaser en route to ruining our day at Leopold's garrison. Mired in some other business, and not keen to talk, he did slip a note into our possession that mentioned there might be a letter for Beezaura at the mail house, and we stashed this information away for later, when hopefully we were reunited. Heading in the other direction, Graven and Beezaura had considerably less luck finding friendly or helpful faces. Riding in the opposite direction, the Tiefling from the Mullafair wine tasting had evidently caught up to Beezaura, living up to the promise he made back in Urinshupa after soliciting her help to find out more about Orba. He didn't stop to chat, but we had a feeling this wasn't the last we'd see of him, and we vowed to tread lightly around the gentle void here in the city. Before reaching Wampiranina, we were also propositioned by an unsettling man who claimed to have access to Microl, which we had heard about from Leto but had no intention of experimenting with ourselves. Still, more knowledge never hurt to have, and he directed us to the tavern near the ports called All Hands on Deck if we wanted to hear more, a place that we would soon come to realize was quite a hotbed of activity. In Nakuzi, we made brief stops by the New Kelkian Church and Leto's house, which helped Orba focus her thoughts and earned Erland an unexpected hug. Though despite Leto being thrilled to see us, he was seeing to his husband's burial and wouldn't be able to meet up and chat until the evening at the earliest. We promised to find time to grab a drink, and before we departed, he imparted yet another clue surrounding the Myconid trade in Navikapura, something we'd have to look into when we found ourselves at the short ports later on. For those of us approaching the coast, it was time for a little tussle, as a boastful back-alley bare-knuckle boxer agreed to fight Graven after a bit of prodding. The wager this time wasn't for money, but for advice, and as Graven dropped the half-orc with a resounding blow, we found him to be enough of a man of his word to point to Villapont Willoughby, a private investigator who seemed like a promising lead for tracking down pockets. Next, it was off to the offices of the Broken Crown, where contracts were available if we wanted to earn some spending money, though what interested us most were the portraits of Safira that were apparently circulating in Navikapura. Without the writ of service we'd acquired from Amari Magamet, we couldn't get any more details, so it was time for Beezaura to make a long-awaited stop at Senka Uberti's House of Companionship Services. Unsure of what to expect, we found the self-proclaimed Dream Maker to be both alluring and unnerving, though there was no doubt she had cultivated a truly unique experience for her customers. After Beezaura demonstrated herself to be a reliable hire, Senka quickly opened up about a problem she had. One of her indentured mages that she used to create her expensive illusions had gone missing. Kidnapped or escaped, she wasn't sure. She had a couple of thoughts on where to start, but warned Beezaura that as an outsider, it might be difficult to get results without the use of force. Around the same time that Beezaura was planning her next move, Orba had finally arrived at the House of Celis, with the hopes of presenting some of the items that she'd been carrying for so long, across continents and oceans. Steeling herself, she stepped inside, and though initially disappointed to find that Celis was not home, all dismay was erased as Cliff Ironcloud himself emerged from a back room, apparently having commissioned something from his right-hand wizard. Orba wasted no time declaring her purpose for being there, which earned her Cliff's consideration, though a man in his position has many enemies, and before he was willing to engage in further discussion, he demanded that she visit Celis at a laboratory just outside of town to verify the authenticity of Lady Salandriel's ring. At long last, it seemed like Orba was going to get some answers about why she was chosen for this task, and as the group found themselves with a bit of time before she was set to report, we headed to the Upa Alehouse, and we asked ourselves, how far was Beezaura willing to go to track down a man that, like her once upon a time, was indentured and possibly hoping to get free? What would Cliff have to say after Orba confirmed that the ring was indeed his sister's? And with every laborer, longshoreman, and low-down scum reporting to the deck as their tavern of choice, Pockets has got to be there, right? We find out now on chapter 73 of A Peek Beneath the Veil.
What a loaded episode that was.
Yeah.
Whew. All right, are we at the break
Let's go
now?
for
Do we get to
Alright,
the
so we'll
break?
be back in 20 minutes. See you then.
We'll do the rest of
You
the
made it feel like moments. Just moments. That's it.
Raptured.
but a moment.
You find your way back to the Upa Alehouse, and not much has changed since your detour to Celis's house. The amphitheater remains mostly empty, but there are patrons scattered throughout the area, mostly concentrated under the awning, where the elven woman with the red hair is still chatting with the closest drinkers. She seems fairly spirited. She's talking quite a bit, and the people around her are either kind of mostly ignoring her or just waiting for her to finish her diatribe. But she continues on, even while she's filling drinks and wiping down tables. You see her talking, and she'll go to take a drink, and she's still talking while she's kind of at the thing. Very kind of wrapped up in whatever she's going on about. So you guys are kind of approaching here at this moment. Not quite at the bar yet, but you can see it there.
Roughly what time of day is it at this point?
Like 5:30-ish, 5:30-ish.
Daylight saving times, is it night yet? Or
You've got probably two and a half hours before night, like sun sets.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
how are we feeling?
Good.
Okay.
How are you feeling?
Well, you have to wait until just nightfall?
Nightfall. Correct.
Of course, right, because that's...
Yeah. Well, the
I'm
idea was
fine
that
with
he's
it, I'm
busy
just
doing
not
other
fine
stuff.
with it. Yeah, I
So
understand.
he's a busy man.
I understand. Busy man who's luring you to a private location in the middle of the night. Seems fine.
She'll be fine.
I know, she'll be fine. I'm just worried about it. I'm just making it known that I'm worried about it. That's all I'm doing.
It's seen.
Thank
I see it.
Thank you.
Look, it occurred to me that while we're perhaps waiting for Orba to visit Celis, the Niels Bargus, the alchemist that Leto had told us about, lives in Dienst, which is right over there actually.
Oh, okay.
And this was the alchemist who when Leto went to the Microl cabin. He had his like money satchel and the sort of myconid beast perhaps gained a moment of lucidity and grabbed it. So I don't know if it's worth talking to Niels or if it's worth simply scoping out first.
Let's do it.
We could do that now, perhaps,
Okay.
before it closes.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Okay.
And then we should really start to brainstorm.
Yeah, we gotta come up with a plan, right? Because the what's definitely no funny hats.
All right.
Operation No Funny Hats.
Or alternatively, what we could do, everyone has a funny hat. I don't know how many funny hats we'd have to get. Just be absolutely a mob of funny hats. You laugh, but then how do they know?
Flood the area with funny hats?
I think we're perhaps overthinking this.
We're overthinking this. You're underthinking this.
We're only overthinking
You haven't thought about this
it
at all.
because you've underthought
Thought
it.
about it some.
Okay, then what's your brilliant plan?
Can we at least start walking towards Boston?
Yes, okay. Lead the way.
So you guys start to head back in that direction. As to go in that direction, you guys kind of pass through that main courtyard of the Upa Ale House. And as you do so, you pick up like a little piece of the conversation that the barkeep is sort of chatting about as she's walking by. So you hear this as you're walking by. And they're all getting pushed out of their homes for one reason or another. The Radirans by the Black Lion Barbarians, the Citravadas by Amberzine Charisse. With such coveted land between Tuktu and Navikapura, the only reason the Acklys haven't been extricated is because the Tempests offer some level of protection. But who's going to protect them when somebody figures out a way around the Tempests? And if you think that people aren't working on solving that problem at this very moment, you haven't been paying attention. And she's like going on and on and on. She's clearly sort of rambling about the various elven cultures throughout Antisuyu, some of which you've met.
Is she an elven woman?
Yes, she is elven as well, yes. So she's like putting drinks down, and as she kind of talks at people when she places drinks in front of them, they kind of give her like the and like keeps drinks as she's sort of rambling on. So you guys pass through the little square there and hear her talking.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, I did. Might be a good person to talk to. It seems like
She certainly knows her history of the area.
Yeah, and also she seems willing to tell just about anyone anything.
I love that.
Yeah, I
Okay.
love that for us. So definitely hit up the redhead when we go back, right?
Okay. Yeah.
I'm not making that up, right? This scenario was actually right.
Everyone's like, she was blonde.
I was waiting for her. She has a name, Safira.
Okay. We don't know it.
So you make your way back toward that north road that leads out of Nopa. And you find yourself once again in that section of town that has that kind of upper class air to it. Larger houses, sturdier materials, some of the coloring of the materials is sort of deep purples and deep reds, distinguishing itself. And you find that thin, sort of odd-shaped building that had the sign bottled. And from the windows, you can see little vials, bottles, things in the windows that denote it as some kind of alchemical shop of some kind. So you guys sort of make your way up on there. And the building that you're sort of approaching, it's less worn than its sort of surrounding buildings. Sort of gives you the impression that the owner maybe wanted to have his building located in this district, this sort of wealthy district, but couldn't afford to buy someone else out of a larger property, so he had this tall, thin property built in like the one spot that was still available to buy in this area.
Are there windows on sort of all the floors? Like, can you tell how many floors the building is?
It looks like there's 3 floors, and there's windows on all the floors.
Are the windows on the upper floors lit, unlit? Can
Give me a
you
perception
see?
check.
Oh, good start. 7.
There's, from a cursory glance, there's some light coming from windows on the second floor, none from the third floor. It looks like there might be curtains in the windows, so it's hard to see anything up in the third floor.
Interesting architecture here. Shall we knock, see if anyone's...
Well, does it seem to be a shop, or does it?
Yeah.
It does, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that, I mean, it doesn't look...
It has a
Closed.
storefront sign, yes, and there's, items in the windows.
I'm sort of trepidatious for us to all go in there at once if we want to do any sort of sneaking about, if there's something suspicious.
Are we anticipating something
I was
suspicious?
just going to say.
Potentially. I mean, this creature in some way identified this pouch. We've never seen behavior like that from these creatures. They've been fairly mindless. Though we
Right,
learn...
but Erland, look around you. Look at where we are. Do we think that we're going to be, I don't know, suddenly ambushed in this little shop, in this part of town, in this...
No,
particular
I'm
moment?
I'm saying that if there's something on the inside that we might want to gain access to, or I suppose
He's saying he
regardless
wants
we'd
to
have to...
sneak around.
I suppose it
That's
isn't-
what he's saying.
I'm saying,
He's
no, I'm
saying
saying we should
that he
talk
wants
to
to
him.
go in there alone.
No, I'm saying we should...
I'm talking for you now, because you want to go in there and you want to sneak around. What do you want to do? Just tell us what you want to do.
I don't know yet. I'm trying to figure out the best way to figure out information without showing our hand.
You used to figure out information on your own. I find that that's what you look like when
Why
you're
don't...
figuring out information.
What? Okay, wait, hold on. What is the goal upon entering this
We're just
building?
gonna ask some
I think to see
right
if,
now.
see if Niels is here, see if he's alive, see if he's not a myconid beast.
So you're going to go in there and what, look for one of these pouches?
I suppose we can ask... I think if we go in, we should just pretend we're customers and ask customer questions.
Like, act
Right.
like normal people and not us, for once.
Exactly, and
Okay.
sort
Okay,
of,
that's
and if
not so
anything
bad.
seems fishy, we'll go from there.
Okay,
All right,
great.
So we go in together?
sure.
Okay.
Orba starts heading in.
Okay, I'll follow you.
Let's go falling. Sort of weirdly separated, only by like 5 feet apart. Not together, but not separate.
Can't decide.
And you open the door and it reveals this sort of first floor, which, while cramped, has been kept very clean and very organized. There's large windows to help kind of alleviate any feeling of feeling enclosed, which you might in a room that's this small with this sort of odd, narrow building. There's a central table that has racks, stands, alchemical paraphernalia. But most of the merchandise is up on shelves all along the walls. A very pleasing array of colorful liquids, uniquely shaped bottles, specially crafted padded carrying cases for alchemists on the go or people sort of carrying a lot of this equipment that might be sort of valuable and prone to damaging. A very short human man with a thick head of well-groomed hair and a robust mustache looks up from a desk in the corner. He smiles warmly. Hello, I'm Mr. Bogus. What can I do for you?
I think we were just kind of shopping around. She's the magical one, so...
Excellent. We have all sorts of alchemical equipment, ingredients, potions pre-made, or you can make them on your own if that's your vocation.
Sadly, it is not. But that sounds very cool.
Is there anything I can help you with? It happens to be my vocation, so I know it very well.
What kind of pre-made ones do you have, just so I get an understanding of the possibilities?
Quite a few, and then quite a few more after that.
Oh.
All of the sort of standard potions that you'd find. In addition, things of my own concoction. Armor potions, berserk potions, potions of vulnerability for poisoning your enemies if need be.
Whoa. That's really cool stuff. what was the vulnerabilities you mean? Make somebody more vulnerable to certain...
Yes,
things?
well, you've probably seen potions of resistance that make you more resilient to certain elements. Well, these potions work the opposite, and you obviously don't want to take them yourself. They're for someone else.
Are they like, do they taste like anything? Like, are they sneaky? You put that in like a drink?
Most of them are tasteless and odorless for that exact purpose.
Wow. Sneaky indeed. Suppose that you wanted something to carry something like that in. Do you have anything like that?
Yes, many. We have boxes which have inlaid fabric for the carrying of potions. We have a number of small satchels, as well as just, and he points over to one of the shelves, and sort of in this box, lined up, like maybe 8, 9, 10 of them, are these little velvet pouches that all have a little cursive N embroidered on the outside of them. If you're just carrying 1 or 2 things, or just as a useful coin purse, some people use it as a memento of some kind of having shopped here and bottled.
Oh, nice. They're quite pretty.
Yes, have a look, touch, feel. They're very good craftsmen.
And I'm going to kind of go over to
You kind of run it over your hands. Yeah, you do. It's very good quality. The interior is sort of lined in a different color than the exterior. It's very nice.
So some people simply purchase these sort of pouches without purchasing any of your potions at all?
I've had that happen a few times, or they have their own potions already and they're just looking for something to carry it in.
Right, but you don't have to necessarily buy a potion in
No,
order to
you
get...
can purchase them separately, yes.
How much does one of these go for?
7 gold for one of the small pouches.
Right.
So, no, go ahead.
I was just going to say, do you know, we were referred to you by a friend of ours named Leto, who lives in town. He said he's...
Yes, that lives over in Nakuzi.
Yes, that's right, behind the church, by the way.
Blacksmith or apprentice to blacksmith.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
I am familiar with Leto, yes.
Yes. He suggested we come check out your wares. He said he's worked with you or helped in the past.
Yes, he helped me construct the upper floors of this building, which were a little difficult given the constraints.
Are there more wares on the upper floors?
No, the second floor is my personal laboratory, and the third floor is my quarters. So.
Nice.
Cool. Do you ever do tours of your laboratory?
No. But I am happy to go up and make anything you wish, any kind.
Oh. Have you ever heard of, now you might have Krios Ogtrop? Is that the potion master who we met? How do you pronounce that?
Yes, I believe you are pronouncing it. Let me...
episode 69.
Name dropping
outside of
over
Labels,
there.
Garrison.
Yeah, the guy who we
Yes.
tried all the potions. Have you heard of the dwarven potion master Krios Ogtrop?
Yes, it comes from Katil, I think.
Yes, that sounds familiar. He tried out some of his healing potions on us.
I've heard very good things about his ability to spice up the taste of otherwise rather droll or tasteless potions.
Would you be interested in... I have one of his... Would you be interested in sort of investigating it, looking at it? If you have a straw, perhaps trying a little bit of it?
I'm all right, thank you very much.
Well, what do we think? Is there anything we need?
Oh, I was going to ask oh yes. Where did you study this by any chance?
Well, I grew up around here in Vikapura. I mostly put my vocation to application during the war. Before that, I mostly made simple herbal remedies, healing potions, but during the war there was a call for things such as vulnerability potions, things to heal. So I dabbled in things of a more offensive nature.
Oh, interesting. So are you self-taught?
My parents were herbalists, and that sort of natural progression into alchemy. I was schooled and they were not, so I had access to more knowledge than they did.
Sort of looking around at all his stuff as I sort of talk to him. Mm-hmm. Do you work alone? There's so many potions here. Do you have any sort of apprentice?
That's just me, I'm proud to say.
Have you ever taken on an apprentice or had a loved one working for you or something? It's just so much work to do.
Just me.
Does that seem true to me?
Give me that.
Oh, here we go.
It's just the same thing. Oh my god.
So close to a natural 20. 9.
It doesn't give any indication that he's not.
You said you had like offensive stuff. Offensive, not
Yes.
offensive.
Well, some of them smell rather offensive.
What kind of offensive things do you have?
As I mentioned, the potions of vulnerability.
Oh, those are the things.
Yes. Most of the other ones are for self-benefits.
Oh, I see. We once encountered potions of fire breathing, and
yes.
those are quite popular amongst our friends.
They're less popular in the city.
Yeah.
You can get in trouble with them, so I don't make them unless you request them. I can make them.
Oh, understood. Are there other potions similar to that allow somebody to, like, expel magical force of some kind?
It depends. What exactly are you looking for?
Well, we were in a fight most recently. We're bounty hunters, and occasionally we will encounter ghosts or spirits of some kind.
Yes.
And, well, unless you're a magic user like myself, it's hard to, take care of them.
Yeah, also, if you've got anything that would prevent possession of one of these spirits, I have to say, I experienced that. Not fun at all. Don't recommend it. Yeah, if I could avoid that in the future, that'd be great.
We do have... let me make sure I get the right thing.
Take your time.
He looks through his ledger.
Is there, like, a way that, like, while he's kind of looking for stuff, is there any way I would be able to kind of look like I'm looking over somewhere and pull Orba aside a little bit? Or no?
Yes, although she just asked a question, so...
Yeah, so not really.
But yeah, I mean, it's small, but you could kind of be next to each other and kind of whisper something if he was distracted talking to someone else. We do, again, I don't carry them unless requested, but we have Alchemist's Fire, which is you can throw it and it makes an explosion of fire. So not exactly the same, but it would help with your sort of physical limitations in a similar way.
And just for future knowledge, how much would something like that cost?
Alchemist's Fire cost 75.
Erland's gonna pull out his Alchemist Fire and sort of hold it and be like, something like this.
It looks just like that, yes.
Oh yeah, where did you get that?
I honestly don't remember.
Okay. Okay, well, if we use it and we enjoy the whole shebang, maybe we will get more.
They can be very useful, I'm told. Bounty hunters and like.
Yes.
Our friend Leto, unfortunately, we were helping him on the road. He was robbed, actually. And the
I'm so sorry to hear that.
the coin purse that I believe you had given him was taken from him. Did anyone return a coin purse to you that they had found?
No, he was robbed, you say?
Yes, that's what he told us at least.
That's terrible. Is he all right?
I think so. I mean, yes, he's fine, yes.
Well, no,
I was just curious if anyone had, because your name is emblazoned on it, if someone had perhaps returned it.
I don't think that someone would have been so kind. Where was this?
On the road here, coming from, we were coming from the south, so.
Does his concern seem feigned?
Give me an insight.
Like, he seems like very overly concerned. He was robbed, you say?
I mean, that's not a good thing.
That's his neighbor.
He was robbed. I fucking deserved it.
Right. He had to talk that guy.
Oh, am I making insight? 10.
10. It does seem genuine. In addition to that, just a little thing that you catch on to, he was surprised by the fact that you met Leto kind of on the road somewhere. Like it seems like as far as he knows, Leto's in town all the time.
Right,
he knows he's a local guy. So that he, in addition to his sort of concern, he would seem surprised by that information.
Yeah, you haven't experienced an uptick in crime in this neighborhood, have you?
No, most certainly not.
Bit odd, I suppose. I suppose it's not, bit of an anomaly, I suppose you hope.
Yes, I would hope so. This neighborhood's rather safe most of the time.
Right.
Did you come here to buy any potions?
Yeah, sorry, we've just asked you a bunch of questions. Do you know what? I'm gonna sort of just browse around for a bit. I'm not sure
please,
exactly.
Please do.
I'm gonna kind of walk away and try to, in the most subtle way possible, I'm gonna try to kind of look at Orba like I want her to just do a little with
Do
my
I
eyes.
do I see that?
Sure.
Then I'm gonna sort of try and pick whichever potion wall I've been sort of looking at as I'm talking to him. I'm gonna sort of.
You're close to one of his. Let's say you're close to one of his armor potions that he has there.
As you can sort of see, I'm not very well armored traveling. How would this be something that could perhaps work for me?
Yes, if you're one who prefers not to be bogged down with heavy equipment. The potions harden the skin and replicate the effects of a strong exterior armor. And there are different strengths.
And how long does it last?
It lasts for 8 hours.
Sort of pick it up and be
sure. You can kind of browse. There's like little templates with information on it as well. You take a look. There's 3 different ones. There's 3 strengths, and it goes into the minutia of them. But they give you either 13, 14, or 15 plus your dex modifier AC. So it changes your AC for 8 hours too.
Plus your dex modifier. That's good for you.
Yeah, that is
13, well, the 13 one does nothing for me.
While they are having this conversation
Yes,
and he's distracted, can I kind of to Orba, I think we should probably buy something.
Don't get too quiet.
I think we should probably buy something and get out at some point fairly quickly because I don't want to, make him think that we're weird. Number 1. And number 2, if we did need to have a look round here, we can ask him for a special potion, have him go upstairs and do whatever snooping we might want to. I want to buy one of those little pouches because, I figure we might as well get one. It's 7 gold. It's a bit overpriced for a pouch, but okay.
It is, but, it's this section.
So I think maybe we should browse and leave, just because I think maybe we've asked some weird questions.
Yup.
Well, good news, you hurries.
Yup.
Okay.
Any interest at all in the armor potion?
I think so. Some of the lighter ones probably wouldn't help me too much. But how much would the greatest one go?
Yes, it's 50, 150, and 250 in ascending order.
All right, that's good to know. Perhaps before I head back on the road out of Navikapur, that'll be useful.
Could I have more of them made up? We'd be buying more than one.
Oh, I don't think so.
Oh.
I don't think that will be necessary.
I'm always happy to fulfill a request.
Oh, that's good to know. We're going to be here for a little bit, so I think this is useful information before we head out in perhaps a few days. Sort of seeing that they're done.
I'm going to walk over to the pouches and grab one of the pouches. I'm going to kind of do, first I want to look at all of them and see if there's anything unusual at all. They look identical.
Yeah,
okay.
Completely identical.
Then I'm going to kind of pick one up and feel it and say,
Sure.
I think I'll take one of these.
Excellent. I'm always happy when someone has one that puts my initials out there in the world, traveling around. 7 gold.
Great. And I'm going to give him 7 gold.
Sure.
If I can find my...
It's
my
an expensive
wallet
pouch,
here.
for sure.
It is an expensive pouch. Why? I can't find it.
Feels good, man.
It's in the back. I guess.
Spilling it.
Oh, the texture. Don't drop that.
Or anything else you're doing while she's
While she's searching for her coin
wallet?
purse.
first?
No, I think I'm good. Is that
You
it? I
can
see
make
it.
a note. -7
Yeah,
or something.
There you go.
I found
Also
it.
just-
It's fine.
Okay.
You're good for it. I don't know you, but...
Reaching in.
That was all very helpful. Thank you.
Yes, come back anytime, please.
Yeah, thanks. And Orba's gonna start
Will we leave?
to leave.
Okay, everybody heads back up.
And Safira, as soon as she gets outside, is really looking at the pouch. She's turning it inside out and kind of...
Is there anything about it that would be...
Here's what I'm thinking. And I'm going to kind of try to step away a little bit from the door. I wonder if this guy might make some other things in that lab. And maybe, just possibly, the reason that someone was forced into, sentience for a moment when they saw this is because it reminded them... I don't know. Are they handing this in some... I can't imagine. He's got a lab upstairs. He's skilled in potions. He's some kind of alchemist. There's a lot of money in, micro. Trying to say it quietly.
You think he's making it?
I don't know. I think he could be. I mean, it seems like, if I'm doing, limited analysis, he seems like someone who maybe started up with not very much money, tried to put himself in the most expensive part of town, regardless of the poor real estate, and is maybe, he strikes me as a climber, someone who is interested in maximizing profit, right? He's started making potions for the war. I don't know.
Right.
I just can't think of any other reason. I mean, that's my only
No,
idea.
I'm trying to follow. So he would have to obtain extract
You have to have a dealer,
Microl.
basically.
No,
Correct.
he wouldn't be making Microl if he's responsible for the hybrid beasts.
Right, I think I'm following a different path.
No,
at
I'm
the
not sure
moment
that
in my
he's
head.
responsible. I'm wondering if he's just a distributor. I'm not saying he's necessarily a head honcho. I'm saying how much money could you make by selling this stuff? And maybe by selling this stuff packaged nicely for maybe not your average consumer. Maybe he's not just selling it to, the strategy we've seen is dosing people who are poor and undesirable, right? But what if the rich and the wealthy need a way to slow everything down too?
Right, well, that's also a different idea, is the poor people with the concentrate, correct? Are we discussing all different products of
Yeah, it's gotten a bit muddled now. It has
I don't think
No idea,
I think that it seems like these hybrid beasts are only created in by whoever is in charge of the harvesting yard that we went to, right?
Because maybe, but the people at the place with the dead guys, they said that.
Mr.
Oh,
McKenna,
there's so many things to think
No,
about.
what I'm saying is, they know. It seems like that this is the distribute. That is a significant. The harvesting yard was both distributing myconid extract.
Yes.
That was a significant hub of myconid distribution, in addition to all the other nefarious things that we saw.
Yes.
Yeah.
It seems like the hybrid beasts, or whatever we're calling them, are being created at the harvesting yard, and being also distributed across Anti-Suyu.
Yeah.
Yes.
And yes, we are aware. I'm obviously saying all this quietly.
Shouting.
I'm leaning towards the.
It's like,
Obviously, it seems like Mr. McKenna has perhaps purchased one of these, which is why his one that went on the loose was attempted to be destroyed by those mercenaries.
But isn't it possible too that not all of these creatures are being made intentionally?
Of course they're not being made intentionally. They're being made in order to turn
Sometimes they
people
are.
into myconids.
No, but in some cases they are absolutely being made intentionally. But what if you're just a person and you decide to start using this drug?
No,
and
that's not what turns you into
No.
It's
It's only
spores.
type B candidates.
Yeah,
Type
you can't turn
Bs
into it
that
just by
are
taking my
exposed to spores.
Yeah. It's
No,
type
but
B
what I'm
candidates.
saying is if you find out, if you're overseeing some kind of operation, you have a bunch of users and you see people who are type B, can't you pluck them out
Sure.
and
But
do
then you would-
experiments on them?
Sure,
Sure.
but then you would have to have spores as well in
Yeah.
a laboratory to
I'm
do
not
it.
saying he's making the myconid, I'm saying maybe he's making money off just the drug.
Perhaps
Okay.
perhaps he's the.
I'm not saying he's making the creatures. I doubt.
Rama's is overwhelmed.
I doubt it, but
It is indeed fishy that an alchemist was in some way in perhaps involved or perhaps provoked lucidity. That is suspicious.
Or perhaps, alternatively, maybe he's been helping some of these people.
Or he's
Maybe he's trying to provide medicine. Maybe he's trying to concoct some kind of a healing potion for them. I don't know. I mean, he could be on either side of this, right?
or he's not related to it at all. Because
Or
we have no
it's
evidence
it's
whatsoever.
possible. We do. The only piece of evidence we have.
It's a money patch that he sells to anybody.
You're right. I mean, but it's significant that creature that usually just kills and grabs and destroys and mutilates decided to use its hand almost like a human person and grab a pouch and then run away with it. It
Well,
clearly
because-
had some kind of meaning.
Right.
So whether or not it's involved with him, whether or not he's making anything, someone's distributing something in these pouches, right?
Yes, that is very possible. Should we go talk to that woman now?
Yes, let's go to the
Okay.
Upa Ale House.
And with theories swirling around,
Why did we open that
It's
box?
Charlie in the basement with the mail. Like,
That was a deep dive into
yeah.
Shit.
I was not clear about what I was talking about.
All right.
the further east that you travel inside of Wampranina, the narrower the streets get. And they get busier, and busier, and busier. And what was likely once a respectable mid-sized port has blossomed into one of the most coveted waterfront real estates in the country. The buildings have added second, third, and even fourth floors to accommodate the influx of population. The call and response of mostly light-hearted heckling is all around you. Carts, wagons, horses, wheelbarrows trying to maneuver past each other on the cobblestone roads. You see a bright red door of a tavern painted mostly white. Sign on the front that says, "All hands on deck." You can see it from a distance. And further making the crimson door easy to spot is the fact that it never seems to close. A stream of patrons moving in and out. Remarkable given it's only the late afternoon and many of the dock workers have yet to even finish their shifts. But its proximity to the docks means that one could easily pop in between offloading ships for a little taste. So you guys are sort of approaching this bar.
And it's still only about like 4 in the afternoon or something like that.
5:30.
Yeah, I get to
You guys
early.
were a little longer. Yeah, but
Yeah.
Well,
you've got a couple more hours of daylight.
here we are.
I think Villapont is the first piece of business. Is there anybody else that we wanted to meet here?
Well, honestly, I've obtained a few names myself.
Divide and conquer?
If you hear anything about a tattoo artist named Butes, please let me know, and Hatchet.
I remember him. He's the MacLeod distributor, supposedly.
Yes, and one more, and I'm sorry to say I can't give many details, but Percival Molifer.
Do you know him personally?
I thought it was really cute. I wanted to get the message.
Just like slip him this note. Not yet, but
You're going to go in there and ask after a Molifer.
not right away, Graven.
I
but
think maybe...
just keep your ears out.
Okay, but that's something we could ask Villapont about.
All right,
And he would probably keep quiet for money.
that I have.
Great. All right, let's look for Villapont first. Hopefully he's not drunk.
You guys head inside. And there is hardly a seat to spare. Candelabra fixed to the walls and support beams warming up the colors of the room, which consist of mostly a sea of drab brown jackets, sort of the functional attire of the workers of Wamparani Na. It's hard to gauge just how large the space is, but there's a staircase to your right that indicates that the bar has at least a second floor of seating, and a sign on the wall advertises rooms for rent on the third and fourth floors, though you doubt you'd get much sleep with such a commotion on the lower levels. A nearby counter is crowded, and there's an overworked but loving-it dwarf on the other side, oily hair, rosy cheeks, and a hearty laugh that's often followed by a "Ah! Ah!" What would seem to be a pet raven is perched on a rod above the wall over the ales, and occasionally it'll fly down onto the man's shoulder and then fly back up onto his perch. So you see all these people moving about, the tables are crowded, you see some people playing cards, dice, gambling, a lot of revelry, talking, drinking, moving around, so...
Sorry, so that's the bar. He's behind the bar.
That was the guy behind the bar.
A dwarven man with the
Yes.
raven that's coming down. Okay.
Should we get now?
All right.
Join the party, I guess. First one's on me.
You guys start to head towards the bar, and it's a task. I mean, people are all kind of crowded. You kind of have to push your way through. And
Can I go through people's legs,
Beezaura
like?
especially has to kind of maneuver her way past all of the people. Graven kind of towering over them a little bit, kind of gently pushing people out of the way as you get closer and closer to the bar.
Do we stand out as being in, like, 2 people in armor?
There are some people in like leather armor and stuff. It's less the armor. I mean, you're carrying like shields and stuff.
Yeah.
You've seen some people around. You've seen some people around town, like near the Broken Crown Station stuff. It's not crazy for there to be a guard of some kind or a personal guard. You know,
Okay.
someone's escort, like a personal security service. That's not unheard of. A Goliath, which is already uncommon, and then wearing armor and like a shield on top of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I know it's crowded, but do I notice anybody scoping us out right away?
Give me a perception check.
Oh no.
Oh shit.
We can't act normal anymore.
No, we just.
19.
19.
Nice.
You're kind of looking around as Graven's kind of pushing his way to the front, and it's less you, but Graven's getting some looks, not, in a malicious way, but you see some people kind of like nudge and kind of like... Just, sort of noting his size and standing out amongst the crowd. It certainly doesn't seem like there's another Goliath in here, so currently he's the only one in there.
Seem to be making quite an impression.
What?
That's true. You seem to be making quite an impression.
I typically do.
Oh.
Just trying to get to the point.
You push your way to the bar. You kind of put your elbows down between two guys on your left and right that are both kind of trying to
sneak my head in.
Yeah. Beezaura kind of on the other side, so you're talking across the bar at each other.
Bartender.
Yes.
2 ales, please.
Oh, alright. We've got all hands ale and the on-deck mead, or Raven's Feather Stout.
What's your favorite?
The Raven's Feather, of course.
And the crow kind of calls back, the raven on the rod there behind him.
We'll take 2.
Turns around, fills up a couple. It's a very dark, kind of meaty, earthy beverage that he sort of slides over to you guys.
Is it kind of like a meal?
Have a drink. And he's busy. He's trans you the. You can flag him. But
I was gonna say I'll have also. We didn't pay for it yet, right?
I assumed you did.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say take out an extra silver and put that down and be and we're looking for a Willoughby.
Looks around, slides the coin over to his side.
What do you need him for?
Just heard his name. Wanted to have a conversation.
3F.
And he sort of walks away.
Thank you.
How much were the ales?
He pointed to a sign on the thing. They're all 6 copper. All
6
okay.
copper.
Oh wow, so silver's a good tip.
Yeah, that was very good. That's why he did not argue. or try to get more.
So can I get change for that? I meant to give you only.
Sorry, can I get change for that tip?
I will do the math later.
Yeah.
That's 12.
Yes, thank you.
No problem. Do you want to head up right away?
Yes. It sounded like he was pretty confident about that's where he would be.
Yes.
All right. Boom.
Yeah.
People at the bar sort of see you guys chugging, and they're like, yeah. And it starts all around the bar, everybody chugging, and people kind of slam their drinks down and start going, caw, 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 and they kind of motion to you, caw, caw, caw,
Come on, Graven.
and suddenly the whole bar is sort of echoing back and forth with this cawing, and one guy kind of leans into you. The raven knows sadness, and it flies down and it'll land on the shoulder of the saddest fuck in the bar. So if it lands on you, we buy you a free drink. Caw! 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 And everyone in the bar is sort of chanting, caw. Who's doing it?
I'm doing it.
Beezaura's doing it?
Caw! 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 Graven, do you want to be the saddest fuck at the bar?
Graven doesn't do it. Give me an animal handling check.
Oh my god.
And as the commotion sort of riling up, you can see the bird kind of
14.
sort of ruffling a little bit and looking around, and then it kind of makes a loop around the ceiling, and everyone's sort of following it with their eyes, and then it lands on Beezaura's shoulder, and everyone sort of
14?
yeah! And you see people start sliding. You get 5, 6, 7 drinks. People sliding over drinks to you. Some of them half drunk already. Giving you.
You've seen my size, haven't you?
Drink up.
Do you want one?
Do people make a move for me? Do they notice if I take one? Do people make?
They don't see.
They don't care.
No one cares.
It's just sort of an event here.
Cheers.
And everyone kind of claps as you're drinking, and people go back to their drinking a little bit. And after taking a drink, the bird kind of flies back.
Thank you, everyone.
Great job fitting in.
I guess I just joined the crowd, I guess.
And someone kind of drunkenly leans over. So what makes you so sad?
Just got a lot on my mind, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Like what?
Just, looking for something and haven't found it yet.
Yeah, what you looking for?
Happiness.
That is sad.
Yeah, how about you?
Yeah,
You're sad?
happiness sounds good.
Right. Well, cheers to you.
cheers. And he sort of reaches to where his drink was, but he had slid it over to you, so he doesn't have one.
Here you go. On me.
As soon as he puts his head back, I'm gonna start to walk.
Yeah,
sneak out of there. Yeah.
Oh my god.
This is a strange place.
Seems like people are pretty friendly.
Sure. I'm going upstairs. Do you want to come with me?
Yes.
All right.
You guys start to walk up. So you head up the first set of floors, set of stairs, and the second floor is very much the same. It looks like there isn't a bar up here, so you do have to go downstairs to get a drink or food or whatever and take it up. There's more tables up here. Downstairs, a little more standing, some stools and things. So you can see that they also serve food here. There's a lot of people sitting at tables, sort of enjoying a bite to eat. And you circle up to the next set of stairs, and you get up.
Goliaths on that floor either.
Make an investigation check. Let's do a quick look.
Oh, I hate that. That's my worst. Investigation. 13.
Not that you see. There's some people that are hard to see just because there's so many people in here. They're like behind people, but you feel like one would stand out. You don't immediately catch sight of one.
Yeah. All right.
And you circle your way up to the third floor. And now there's kind of rows on either sides, door, sort of all the way down. It seems like there's probably a dozen rooms on this third floor here, as far as you can tell. Maybe even a couple more. And it's not quiet up here, but you imagine that if you were stinking drunk and you needed somewhere to pass out, that you could stumble into one of these rooms.
What do you say, 3F?
I'm gonna knock pretty hard. Yeah, go over to it and... Dun, 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 dun.
And when you pound on the door, you hear a voice, although it doesn't sound like the room that you're coming from, because you pounded pretty heavy.
Yeah.
Like one door down, you hear someone like, "Fucking stop!" Stop it. Nice kind of stop.
No one comes to the door?
No one comes to the door, yeah.
Try one more time.
Can I try the doorknob?
Sure.
Does it?
It's locked.
It's locked. Okay.
Oh no.
Dun, 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 dun.
Fucking stop it! Stop! And finally, you hear a little bit of shuffling from inside 3F.
That doesn't knock it down.
Jesus.
The door kind of, almost as if someone was stumbling to the door. You see the door open a little bit and then open the whole way, as if sort of in two parts it kind of went for the doorknob and then pushed it all the way open. And the man that answers the door is a stocky human man in his late 40s. A thick black goatee that seems jarringly mismatched from the hair atop his head, to the point where you think it might be dyed.
Oh boy.
He's wearing a dark brown poncho over a faded reddish tunic, and his skin has that glisten of a thin veneer of sweat that comes from frequent imbibement. He's kind of slouched over, and he's rubbing the area above his eyebrows. Not overly concerned with making a professional first impression, but he kind of gives you a flat smile and nods as he sees you at the door. Graven, right? Graven Ilvigo?
Perhaps.
A little birdie whispered in my ear that a new Goliath in town had paid a visit to Mr. Ainsley this morning. I thought that was interesting, so I had my little birdie peck around a bit. The Cleric of Kozney visiting a Cleric of Gromlegale. Now that is interesting, and I'm a sucker for the unusual and the interesting.
You know much.
I hear things.
Well, I suppose what is your price for information that you've already learned versus being sent out for a number of hours?
Well, I think that depends, and that depends.
Do you have a few minutes?
I suppose. Push the door open a little further. Allows you into the room. Go into the room. There's two other people asleep in here. In the bed, in half sort of states of undress. One man, one woman seem to be fully sort of passed out. There's drinks around the rooms on various surfaces. Cups, tankards, sort of some clothing draped over a stool here and there. He sort of pulls a sock off of one stool and tosses it to the side and plunks it down and kind of motions to it for you to sit down.
Friends of yours?
Sort of, yeah. So what can I help you with?
You're not worried about them overhearing us?
Are you worried about it?
I don't know.
Alright, well, let's start talking and I'll let you know if I get uncomfortable.
I'm looking for someone named Pockets.
Sure, yeah, I know Pockets. I'm just a little busy right now to be making introductions. Got a couple of things I'm working on that sort of demand my full attention.
Well, I have reason to believe that they might expect me, so just a location, if you could.
Well, I can't give you that because I don't know exactly where he is. I just know who he is and I can probably track him down.
You don't know where he is?
Nope.
Do you know is that his true name?
Nope.
Do you know his true name?
Nope.
Do I sense that he's lying about that?
Give me an insight check.
Darn it. Well, 3.
It's not just hard to tell, it's almost impossible. I mean, his sort of drunken stupor veneer seems sort of almost practiced in his ability to sort of lie if he wanted to. He doesn't seem like he's lying, but you can't tell.
Love this guy. You know my full name. You learned that from Ainsley.
Well, maybe. Ainsley's got people he talks to. He's got a guy at his shop, too. Never assume that information comes from one place when it could have come from another.
Not many people know who I am, I thought.
Well, I didn't tell anyone, if that makes you feel better.
Have you ever met anyone else from my clan?
No.
Have you heard my name before?
No.
What else did they tell you about him?
No, not much.
Like, what?
I don't know if you understand the concept of a private investigator, but you don't get information for free.
Anything you'd like to ask?
And whatever we ask you stays in this room.
That's right.
Do you know who comes in and out of this bar often? It's pretty crowded.
I hear things.
There's a local tattoo artist.
Butez, yeah, I know him.
Does he come here often?
Sometimes. What do you consider often?
Is he here tonight?
No.
Have you seen him tonight?
No.
What time of day does he usually come in?
He comes in at around the same time that you start paying me for information.
What are your prices?
What do you need?
We need to track down some people.
How much to find Pockets?
Well, here's the problem. It's not just the money. I'm stretched a little thin at the moment. And if you want help locating your man or your men or whoever, you're gonna have to lighten my load a bit.
You mean do some investigating for you?
Well, things that are easier maybe for someone else to take care of than me.
Something that it looks like we could take care of?
Who gave you my name?
Cleaver.
Well, there's two things you could probably take off easy. I can't betray my client's confidentiality, but I can talk about what's public and what you already know. Broken Crown has been on my ass about this string of deaths that came about. Mr. Cleaver's got me on retainer. Those are two separate things. You get Wilson to grant me a stay, see if there's anything to Thorsten's ramblings. He's the guy who's looking into the murders, and maybe I'll have some time to spare for you.
Cleaver has you at all hours.
Cleaver's rich.
All right, we'll speak to him. We met him in the street. Where does he live?
He lives at his parents' house, and he sort of indicates where that is. Let me bring
Oh
up
my gosh.
Wampani somewhere. There we go.
There's a lot to
That
do.
house is gonna be sick.
Quests for quests.
Yeah.
Before you complete this quest.
And it is this place right here.
Some strong guy.
Okay.
It's a rich.
Up to 5. Okay, with some
Womp.
cleavers. what do you think it'll take other than money to let... For Cleaver, I mean.
Well, I don't think Cleaver's gonna take money. That's why I'm sending you.
Right.
What does he need money for?
Does he have a certain vice?
I don't know. Same as any, I guess. That's code for I know, and I'm not telling. Anything else?
I need... Do you know anything about Finlock Forest and the Shade Assembly?
I know of it, yeah.
I have nothing against them. Nothing against any particular member. I need to get into Finlock Forest.
Sounds like Pockets is your man, then.
Oh, shit.
Okay. I suppose that's it then.
That'll be 50 up front.
50 gold.
That's right.
Before we go, since you do spend much of your time here,
I've been here on occasion, sure.
have you seen any interesting characters come in that don't necessarily dress like a local?
I'm your PI as soon as you pay me. I'm not a judge. Who are you looking for? Speak up and speak clear.
I don't think you need to worry about what you say in this room. I'm gonna look again at the people on the bed.
They're passed out cold as far as you can tell.
A certain worker of someone in town is...
Who's the certain worker? Who's the person? What are we doing here? It just went up to 60 up front. Wasting my time.
Are you talking about the Mr. 2?
Yes.
We need to find the mage.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have any information on Mr. 2, and I wouldn't tell you if I did.
I'm sure you'd love to be the person to find him, wouldn't you?
Here's the thing. Senka and I had a tiff a few years back when I did a little digging and exposed that a couple of her courtesans had been illegally acquired from Dillisu. She was forced to send them back. Now, I heard about this Mr. 2 business, and I was offering her my services. I'm the kind of man who lets bygones be bygones. But Senka didn't take too kindly to that. Told me that if I stuck my nose anywhere near it, she'd have me killed. Now, I'm a curious man, but I ain't looking to get killed, so I stayed away from it. That's not something I can help you with.
At all.
I can't help you find him directly. If I have any peripheral information, I'll give it to you.
For a price.
That's right.
Anything will help.
If Senka really trusted you to look into it, I'm sure she gave you a place to start. Who'd she say?
She gave me Butes,
Alright.
Hatchet, and Percival Mullifer.
That last one's gonna be tricky. Don't get an audience with a Mullifer for nothing. I'll think on it and get back to you. Might have a way in with the Mullifers. Butes, I don't think he's doing nothing. Don't think it'd be him.
Okay. And Hatchet?
He's downstairs right now. You can ask him.
I just might.
Sells my crawl. Doesn't do much other than that. If Mr. 2 is looking for it, that's who he'd go to.
And how would I spot him?
Hatchet? Ask around for him. You find him real quick. You don't make it a secret.
Alright, thank you.
You think Mr. 2 was into my crawl?
I don't know. Like I said, I haven't stuck my nose in it.
Does the name Winston Muldoon ring any bells?
Former operative, yeah.
You haven't seen him around this part of the country.
Never met him, just know of him.
We haven't seen him in a long time anyway.
You have a diverse set of people that you're looking for.
Yes.
We are aware.
Well, 30 gold from me.
And
Do you
what's the rest?
Another
60.
30.
Yeah. Fine.
All right. Sounds like we can work together. Who are you talking to first?
I suppose Hatchet is downstairs.
All right. Well, like I said, I'll get things rolling, but I can't really start off until you get those things off my plate.
Then
I'll start already. I'm into it. I'm thinking.
All right. Then I'll. If you want to talk to Hatchet, I'll go talk to Cleaver.
All right.
Hatchet and Cleaver.
It's quite the pair.
All right.
I'm gonna clean myself up in here for a little bit.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Close it.
Well, I never know how much to tell. She threatened to kill me if I divulged too much information. But I guess I've taken that chance before.
Same old shit.
He strikes me as a person who,
Keeps things pretty covert.
yeah, as long as you pay him, he's willing to be your man.
I can handle that.
All right, well, I'm gonna get over to Cleaver. Well, he might even be here.
Should we ask around first? Before we go?
Yeah.
It hasn't been that long since the
Yeah,
fight.
that's true,
I mean, it's possible he's tending to his wounds still. I mean,
Right.
he could be, but you didn't see him when you immediately walked in, and it hasn't been that long since the fight.
Do you want to just come with me to see Hatchet, and then we'll both go see Cleaver?
All right, I'll be your heavy.
Okay.
You guys start to head back down. And we will hop back over to the Upa Ale House.
Everybody's getting drinks.
Throw money around here.
He's gonna get the good shit.
So you guys find your way back, sort of still muttering amongst yourselves, piecing together the intricacies of the Myconid trade in Beezaura. You guys get back, and she's still at it, sort of talking away at the bar. There are a few more people are starting. It's getting a little more crowded the longer it goes into the day. Clearly, people sort of finishing up their various duties.
Can we grab a table near where it seems like it's? Is she the only person on waitstaff? Like,
Yeah, right now she's the only. There's like a bar, and she's the
Yeah.
only person at. Although there's a couple people at tables under that like awning area
Right.
that's sort of off of the main building.
can we
Yeah,
try and grab a table like in her area?
sure, you can. You can get one pretty close to the bar. Yeah,
Cool.
Orba's also just gonna have like an eye on the horizon as the sun slowly sets
I mean,
behind the.
And you said she's coming around to tables, or is she just at the bar?
well, she's just at the bar at the moment. There are some people at tables with drinks.
Right, was she doing table service, or was she?
Not that you could tell,
Okay.
but
Sorry, can we just go sit at the bar then?
sure. Yes.
Sorry, misunderstood.
And Safira's still kind of trying.
What
What
payment
if
situation?
it was like his son or a lover or a... I know, I'm gonna stop. But what if it was someone who knew him? Should we ask people if anyone knew him?
I think that this waitress is going, or bartender is going to be a wealth of information about a number of things.
I mean, fingers crossed, I hope so.
You're
You know,
Take
kind
a
of-
seat. And she sees you guys sort of take a seat, and she's already attended to the people that are currently, in her section over on the right side. And she quickly kind of walks over to you. Hi, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. I'm Satiria. Welcome to the Upa Ale House. I don't think I've seen you around before.
No, we're passing through.
Oh, well, welcome. What can I get you?
I'd like an ale, I don't know.
Ale as well, please.
Great. We've got the All Hands Ale, which comes from All Hands on Deck in Wamparelina. We also have Best West Mead and Fairy's Hex White, which is a wine, and Riverbend Red, which is red wine.
Right. I will take the All Hands on Deck.
All right. That's 6 copper.
Okay.
Which was the white wine?
The Fairy's Hex.
Oh, Fairy's Hex, please.
Great. 4 silver. The wines are imported, not local. They're a little more expensive.
Oh,
Where
where
are
are
they
the wines?
imported from?
I believe there is. Let me just make sure.
I prefer them on.
It's no, Mark.
There's Vern Vineyards up the coast a little bit from Beezaura.
Right.
V-E-R-N-E, Vern.
I'll have what she had, please.
Excellent. 2 All Hands and a Fairy's Hex. And she
It was
goes,
6 copper.
gets you guys your drinks, brings it back. Where are you coming in from?
South.
Oh,
Coming from the south.
Kind of an eclectic
Alright.
group. We met each other on the road, so we come from different places.
that's great. That sounds very exciting.
Where are you from?
Up here. I'm grown up here. I originally was from. Let me make sure.
I can't remember.
Yeah, somewhere.
It was so long ago.
West of Navikapura, there's a Trickster's Thicket. I was in an elven community there.
Nice.
My parents wanted us to live in a more urban environment, so we came here.
Oh, well, how do you like it?
I love it. I've had this bar for a long time. Used to be just a bar. Now it's, as you can see, theater, performance space.
Oh, wow.
We've done quite well for ourselves.
What kind of stuff do you guys do?
Oh, all kinds of things. Fights,
Oh, wow.
musicians, performances. So if you're in town for a while, please come by, see a show.
Sure.
We just travelled, we were travelling north actually through the Ackley Grove.
That's excellent. I love the Ackley Grove. I've been there a couple of times.
It's quite beautiful, yeah.
Yes, it's very beautiful. The squall seasons change and the weather is really it's something to behold. If you watch it from the outside, you can see the clouds overhead.
Oh, yes,
Yeah, well, we
were
watched it
in
from the inside, yeah.
You were in the squall storms.
Next to.
Adjacent, yeah.
Going to say, not a lot of people see the squall storms up close.
No, but we saw a lot of the side effects. We saw a lot of animals and creatures.
Yes, the animals running, yeah.
It's incredible, it really is.
Quite odd, yeah.
Are you familiar at all with the Ackley Elves? Have you met them before? They're an interesting people.
I've met some of them, yes. I'm familiar with a lot of the elven communities in Antisuyu.
Your presence is a gift.
And your presence is a gift as well.
You said you're familiar with a lot of the.
Yes, well, there's some of the elven communities sort of more isolated. The Redirans, the Ackley Elves, the Citravadas. I think it's important that they stay protected because it's difficult sometimes when people are trying to establish roads through your home, your forests. So.
Oh, were you talking about the Steederway? Sorry.
No, the Cedarway is fine. I'm talking about, for example, the Ackley Grove is right between Navikapura and Tuktu, and
Right.
I think if some people had their way, it would become a major road and they would demolish a lot of the trees to make a safer passage.
Right. Who are some people?
Well, people who benefit from the trade north-south.
I'd like to see them try to navigate the squalls, quite honestly.
I think that's the reason why the Ackley Elves are relatively safe compared to some of the other elven communities.
Yes, the Radiran Elves have been largely devastated by the Black Lions, as I'm sure you know.
Yes, it's terrible.
I heard a group of Radirans were heading north towards Navikapura and Dillasun.
Did you?
Yes. Have you heard that? Or you heard rumours of this?
I heard rumors of that as well, yes.
Have you seen any pass through Navikapura?
Yeah, maybe. I think that they were trying to get a word with Cliff Ironcloud, hoping for his protection or for a place where they could relocate some of their people.
Yes.
As far as I know, they haven't been able to negotiate such a thing.
It's a tragedy what's happening to the Radirans.
Cliff
Yes.
Ironcloud could just gift land, like, that isn't already a part of Navikapura? Or?
He could grant them the protections of someone who lives in Navikapura, so
I see.
you, I suppose, technically be a part of our city if you were protected by the advocates.
Oh, so they're trying to settle within Navikapura. I'd heard that they were
Not within the city itself, but close by.
I heard that we spoke to some on as we were coming north.
Oh, did you?
Yes, heard that they were perhaps going to try and settle in Dillasun or Navikapura. I suppose they had to hit Navikapura first.
I'm sure they're looking around. I'm not sure exactly what they're looking for.
Have any come through your bar?
Yes, they have.
Are any here right now?
No.
You seem, are you alright?
I'm fine. It's difficult to gauge whether people have the elves' best interests at heart when they talk about them.
Sure.
If I look around people nearish me, any other elves other than Safira?
Yes,
Okay.
but definitely not dressed in that sort of traditional attire that you saw the Radirans dressed in.
No, yeah,
That's
but
what
just
you're- yeah.
elves and half elves are around.
Yeah.
Okay. Is she elf or half?
She's full elven as far as you can tell.
Cool.
Yeah.
Do you have rooms here as well?
Yes, we do.
Any available?
Sure, yes. How many people? How many nights?
Just potentially, we're looking. We might need a place to stay in the next couple of nights, and this is honestly a sort of a lovely place to stay. Hopefully, catch a show.
Sure, yes. Tomorrow we have a show. Feel free to come
What
by.
show are you having performing?
We have and as she sort of describes it, you see, she's trying to sort of keep up the sell and the upbeat demeanor, but she seems a little almost disappointed as she says it. She sort of, yes, we have a musician coming, very talented. Her name is Bernice Yord. She's from Pagya near Nolan's Woods, and it should be great.
Right.
Is she a famous local performer?
Yes, well, not local performer, but like I said, she's from Nolan Woods. She travels around, and we were very, very excited to bring her here to perform. She draws a big crowd, and we were hoping that she would perform more nights than she's able to.
Well, maybe we'll catch her tomorrow.
Yes, please do. It's the only show, so please do.
Yeah, right. Well.
Thank you.
Yes. Let me know if you need anything.
Yeah.
I'll be right over here. She kind of scuttles off.
So not so comfortable sharing information with just anyone.
Well,
Do you think it's the way we look? Is it the armor? What is it? And Safira's kind of looking down at herself and looking up and like...
why were we being so covert with our relationship with the Lordier and elves? They like us.
That's true, they do like us. I guess we could
Yes,
have
well,
said something.
she seemed quite off-put by revealing anything about the Redeeming Elves.
It
Well,
seems...
yes, because she probably cannot trust, like, outsiders to... What if she's, helping them or protecting them in some way? She doesn't want to reveal anything.
I mean, the Redeeming Elves... I'll keep this down. The Redeeming Elves, we didn't exactly leave under the best circumstances.
Well, enemy of my enemy is my friend kind of thing. Right?
Oh, I mean, you would
It
hope,
was
I
worse?
suppose.
I didn't read it that bad. Is
didn't-
it worse than
I
I
don't
thought?
think it was that bad. How bad did we leave it with them?
Stole the map.
Oh, that's right, we stole the map.
Well, yes, that was the first thing we did. But then we did several
I was
other
against
things.
that.
I
Yes.
guess we did help
That
scare
were more-
Skier a little
Remember?
bit.
Yeah, we bumped into them on the way back from the Myconid camp.
And
That's
helped
true.
and gave them information about
Yes.
the lemonade.
They didn't seem very pleased to see us at that time, but
I suppose you're right, enemy of the enemy, perhaps.
Yes. Why don't we?
God.
Why don't we?
Talking themselves into it. They're like, yeah, we're good. People love us.
But yeah, they were nice.
they're nice for that.
Maybe I'm remembering incorrectly. Skid Skier, correct?
Skid
Yeah,
Skier was the
Skid Skier.
scout, yes.
Right, and who we mostly spoke to leaving the harvesting yard as well, correct?
Yes, he was the one
Yes.
who sort of threatened us at first.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was not
Like
a
I said,
friendly...
We started not so good,
Not at all.
and then
Yeah.
we gave them helpful information.
Yes, we told him about Normanaya.
I think that
Yes.
somehow we're still not...
Right? We told him about Normanaya.
Yes, we told them about Normanaya.
We did.
That's a big win for us,
Right.
guys. That is so much more valuable than a map.
Well, you can say that as much
All
as you
right.
want.
So
I'm
when
not
she
sure
comes
they feel
back
the same way.
around for seconds, you can
I don't know, we need to tell that whole story.
you can mention. There's
what
no.
part of the
Oh, I
story
can
are we
mention
telling?
it. Oh, thank you so much, Erland.
Well,
Yes,
no,
of
maybe
course.
maybe don't
Yeah.
mention the specifics of Normanaya, but the fact that we helped
Oh
them
no.
in Mukmu.
Yes, no, I will be like, hello, we are friends with Skid Skier. If he comes into town,
Do you think
let
it's
him
possible
know
that
that we
she
say hi.
knows him? I mean, what
She
if she
seems
knows
very
him?
close to every
That's
community
what I
of
mean, but
elves.
what if she knows him?
I
And then
think she-
Sketskier has said something like, well, I met these bloody travellers that
Hey.
stole our map and then tried to,
But
you know...
no, but then gave us very helpful information that they wouldn't have recovered
We don't know how he told
had
the
we not
story.
stole the map.
Right.
I'm
Well,
pretty
then
sure
he's
one
telling
of
it
us
wrong.
says hopefully the Lemonade Man and Sked Skier kill each other.
Oh,
I
well,
didn't say that.
That might have been me.
That doesn't sound like that sounds like you.
maybe we shouldn't tell this story. I think this might be one that we keep to ourselves.
I get so confused.
But if we establish her as an ally, maybe she
I agree, Orba.
Okay.
I agree.
I'm not
Okay.
worked up about it. I'm just saying.
Alright, I mean, you
I guess
tell her
as,
whatever you want.
as she's coming back.
Yeah, you can see her kind of wiping the counter down, like she's near enough by to call it.
I'm just gonna look at Orba and sort of flag her down.
God!
Truly throwing me under the bus right now, aren't you?
Refill already.
Yeah.
And Safira's gonna kind of finish the last thing of her drinking.
Terrific.
Kind
Still nursing mine.
Ah, no problem.
I wanted to say regarding the Radiran elves. We met Skidskier along the way on our path, and we became quite close. Just we had similar issues, so we were.
Make a
befriended.
persuasion check with disadvantage.
But I have a +1.
That's
Oh.
Oops.
Oh no. Okay, disadvantage.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. I don't know. Oh no. Oh no.
10.
10. I'm glad you met. I've heard that he's a good scout.
Has he come through Nabikapor at all?
Not him, no.
Does that seem true?
Make an attention.
God, what was the other
I
guy's
always
name?
roll bad on these. Dirty 20.
20. It does seem true.
Oh, shit. All right.
Darn it.
Why do people
Darn it.
Why do people
Well,
lie to me?
If he or his fellows ever come by here, let them know that we say hi and that we hope they're doing well.
Okay. Would they want to see you?
I would hope so.
Make a persuasion check.
Oh my god.
With disadvantage?
No. No, you're not asking. That's not as specific.
No.
9.
Jeez.
I'll let them know if I see them.
That's very kind of you.
2 more
Yes.
of the all hands ale.
Yeah, you said 6,
She's
right?
like, and my money. Thank you.
So you guys are weird.
Oh, is there a library in town, by the way?
Not that I know of.
Oh no.
Personal libraries, maybe.
Okay, thank you.
Can I gauge whether or not she's kind of giving us a look of like,
Inside check.
Wait, did I just fuck something up?
She's giving us looks like, who the fuck are...
She can me the eyes.
Oh.
You go to evaluate her, and she's already turned around. So you can't tell.
Safira just takes it on
We are
You have lost
crushing
your
this
brain
guy.
Right. No idea.
God damn it. Okay, well, I learned nothing.
Yeah, no idea. Absolutely no idea. If that helped her, no idea.
We may have
She
to
kind of
twist
swings
off
back
another
with your
one.
drinks after.
Thank you.
Here you go. Anything else? Let me know. Food? Anything? No.
Oh, you've got food here.
Yes.
Actually, yes.
What kind of food?
Today we have salted grouse and artichoke,
Oh, nice.
and Navika oysters with cheese and buckwheat bread.
That one.
Yeah, absolutely. The oysters
Fancy.
sound great.
Silver and a half for the oysters and the buckwheat bread.
Oh, okay. Silver and a half. What? Wait, what?
And a
So wait,
half.
is that...
1 silver, 5 copper.
Okay.
Oysters all around then.
Yes, please.
Yes, that'd be
Excellent.
great.
How long are you in town for, you said?
We're not totally sure. Probably a couple of days. Just kind of regathering supplies and then probably heading out again.
Plans for the rest of the day today?
No.
I only asked because you'd asked about performances. I didn't know if you're looking for something to do.
Oh, do you have a performance tonight?
No, but there are a couple things. Mr. Sandero has some kind of technique demonstration going on over at his place. Some people like to go and watch. It's sort of like if you like going to jousts or things of that.
Oh, okay.
I think he teaches students and they do demonstrations of their techniques.
What is his specialty?
He's trained in all kinds of weapons.
Oh, is he
that's
just
fun.
like a... What's he do?
Well, he was an ex-soldier. I think
Was
he
that
has
a monk of some
extensive.
kind, or
Sorry?
was he trained at like a monastery, or
No, just self-trained. I think.
soldier?
Yeah.
Nice.
Different
That's
kinds.
impressive.
Is that in this district?
Yes, it is, and she describes. Let's bring back up.
Oh, gosh. Mr.
Where are
Sandero.
we? Over there we go. She describes Mr. Sarndero's place, and he is this little L-shaped building on the western end of town.
Got it. Anywhere else?
Yes, if weapons aren't so much your thing, but mazes are. Mr. Odwick Boffin, who owns Boffin Estates, has a sort of hedge maze on his property,
Oh, fun.
and there's a sort of standing contest to see who can complete it the quickest.
Oh, wow.
Who has the record right now?
I'm not sure, I think he has that to himself, and then they notify the winner at the end of the week.
Oh, that's fun. And where's that?
Boffin Estates, which is, and she describes it, this gray one here, right on the
So
edge.
many activities.
States. One more time, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, the gray one right there.
Well, you're
that's
doing
next to
important
the
I was gonna say so many things.
business. You're doing important business with Sellers and Safira and Erland. They're just like,
farm. You're in.
Oh my god, stupid.
like, we're gonna have fun while you're gone.
Those sound wonderful, thank you.
Yes, so enjoy, and tomorrow, like I said, we have the performance. And again, you get that sense of like disappointment. And if you enjoy, if you enjoy Bremise's performance, you can catch her on subsequent nights over at Hola de Sofia.
Gotcha, thank you.
Yes. I'll be back with you.
Safira?
Satyria.
Satyria.
S-O-T-I-R.
Safira, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Erland.
Orba. Terrific. Enjoy, and I'll be back with the oysters.
Great, thank you.
I'll say this a little under my breath.
Sure.
That San Darrow was one of the people that Leto mentioned as a potential Myconid contact of some sort.
Oh, really?
Okay, good for you
That's
to go
the
to.
weapons guy, right?
The weapons demonstration. I don't.
Oh, okay, so maybe we should pop by.
Yeah, perhaps over the sort of maze. Although.
You want to do the maze so badly,
Although,
I can see
that
it on his
sounds
face.
really fun.
Look at his face, look at how
Hold on.
badly he wants to do
Hold
the
on,
maze.
yeah.
Oh, it breaks my heart, actually. Do you want to know?
What if I tell the people looking for Marvin Bishop that I'm in the maze?
What about the other people in the maze? Can we put everyone in a funny hat, too?
No, but in the maze I'll at least be sheltered.
Well,
And
but
they can only attack from one place.
But then we'd have to scout it before, because we want to make sure we don't get stuck in a maze. If we're being ambushed, that's a
We
bad
have to
place
play
to
in the
get
maze
ambushed.
We have to
We
get
have to
some
learn
recon.
every corner of the maze.
yeah, well, also I guess
Because what we don't want is a repeat of that library. Where were
Yeah.
we? Yeah, that was terrible.
Josco's castle.
So, yeah, I don't want a repeat of the. I don't want a
But
repeat
that's
of it.
perhaps a way to gain the upper hand.
That's not a bad idea. That's the first good idea I've heard in a little while. I mean, I like the crazy hats on everyone. I think it's kind of. I mean, I don't want anyone obviously to get killed, but I don't think they're just going to start firing into a crowd of a bunch of people in funny hats.
I think the priority is San Darrow, given that this demonstration seems to be this evening. And
I
if we
mean,
have
if
time,
anything, we could
She
at
did
least.
imply that the maze was for the week, yes.
Yeah.
It's a
Not
week
that
long.
we'd want to sneak onto someone's property after hours, but if we did need to take a look at this, location, then we
Exactly,
could probably
let's-
do so later.
let's not miss the weapons demonstration. Safira, this is well, you're running off.
Yeah.
Safira and I will catch the weapons demonstration if we have time. Perhaps scout out the maze.
Okay, and where will we meet when this is all done?
How about here?
You want to get the room here?
Sure. Right.
it's
We
not
can
a
meet.
bad
We can
idea.
meet the others tomorrow. We said yes.
Yeah.
We said
Yes.
tonight or tomorrow.
No, we said tomorrow or the
You said
next
tomorrow
Tomorrow.
in Nagarwas, back at the inn in Nagarwas. Is that
The
what you're saying?
morning
Yeah.
or the night.
one. Yeah, like
Oh, okay.
tonight is for us.
Oh, great. Let's get a room here.
Okay,
Tonight
great.
is our night.
How's that sunshine looking?
I mean, it's now sort of almost 7 o'clock, so it's going down. It's not definitely not sunset, but it's.
All right.
I'll go book a room with her then.
Okay.
Oh, so I'll walk over to wherever
Sure,
she is
yeah.
down the bar. Is how far away?
We'll say you. Is there other things? Or are you just inquiring about the inn rates?
Depends on how far away she is.
She's with a couple other people.
Oh, that's fine.
Down. Yeah. Down.
So I'm gonna go over and say, hey,
Yes.
could we actually grab a room for the evening?
Yes. 3 beds, separate rooms. What would you like? We have a lot of options.
Do you have one room, 3 beds?
I do have 1 room, 3 beds. Yes. So
Yes.
just 2 silver for the night.
So I'll pay her 2 silver. Sorry. Great.
Yeah.
So I'll do that, and I'll sort of quietly under my breath. I don't care if the guy's around me here, but I'll say, and if Duldoon stops by, let me know quietly, and I'll walk back to my friends.
Okay.
You make me.
Did I see him whisper something to her at the end, or no? Was it not?
Give me a perception check. And give me contest it.
Oh, contest.
Ooh!
Contest it with a
Oh no. Boo! Be bad.
Give me a. It's not a sleight of hand. Just give me a charisma check, just a straight.
Charisma.
check.
Oh, good. Thanks.
Not you.
Yeah,
Him.
me.
Oh,
Yeah.
good. Oh, wait, what was I?
Yours was a perception check.
Perception. Okay, I forgot what I was doing. Okay. Oh, wait.
12.
He seemed like he went over it, and you saw him point to. There's like a thing on the wall that has room rates. You saw him point to that. As far as you could tell, he was
Sick.
just asking about the rooms.
I mean, he's so happy.
He picks up some bar nuts. Yeah, pops an oyster in his
Yeah,
mouth.
he just slurps one down. He's like,
Well, some
I'm so cool.
crunchy oysters, sand.
Ew.
I got us one of the got us one
disgusting.
room with 3 beds.
Nice, thanks.
Okay.
Okay, so, Orba,
Huh?
how are you feeling? Do you have anything you need? And you got everything,
I'm nervous, but it's gonna be okay.
Okay,
I'm just nervous because it's been a long time, so I'm not nervous about the situation.
right. Okay.
So you shouldn't be nervous about the situation.
Not nervous at all. Why would I be nervous?
It's been a long time since Oh, coming. I see.
Yeah.
Well, it's not your. This is your first time meeting Celis,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
It's, okay. Well, I suppose we should expect you to come back then at what time? How much time do you think you should be spending with this?
I'm not totally sure. I would imagine the process of identifying the ring and making sure it is indeed what it's...
That's like a ritual thing, so that'll take some time, and then after that you'll talk to him for a little while, so that'll take some time. So how much time?
Safira wants the schedule.
Didn't she ask her
curfew?
question?
She's like, I'm gonna put you down for mid one.
Well, also, it might
There's
take...
some wiggle room.
It might
You're
take
nice.
me some time to find this location and whatnot. I don't panic.
I don't think there's going to be a risk of you getting lost.
If
right?
we don't-
There's a clear path to this.
If
There
you're
will be a
not
clear-
back by the morning, we'll go and.
By the morning, should we not be worried before the morning?
Or big
Guys.
stuff.
It just leaves.
This might be the biggest night of my life, so it might take some time.
Morning it is. Yes?
Yes.
Yes?
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
Satirius brings the oysters back. You guys eat a little bit, digest that information as you sort of decide where you're going next. That's where we're going to take a break.
We're feeling anxiety 2 towns over, and we're just like...
Graven's like, there's something going on over and over.
I feel like someone's in distress.
Are you nervous? I feel like you should be nervous. You look nervous. Are you going to be nervous? Are you more nervous now than you were yesterday?
You're going to be nervous in an hour, too. And where will you actually be in an hour? And how long will you stay in that place? Please tell me.
God, I feel like I'm in high school
Check
again.
back.
So many leads to follow. It seems like the group might be maybe splitting up a little further along the way in a couple different directions.
Thank
although-
God, don't talk to me like that.
And that is where we'll pick it up when we come back from the other side.
Oh
Thank
my
you so much for
goodness.
joining us,
Oh,
as always.
Yes, and Night Munch resub for 22 months. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much. We really appreciate that.
Crazy.
OG.
So thank you.
So when we come back, we'll dive right back in, and all right, we'll see you guys on the other side.
Woohoo! I need a... Chapter 72, Headbangers and Cliffhangers, Erland shares the impending ambush from Marvin Bishop's captors with Safira and Orba.
You don't think they're gonna cut Marvin Bishop around by the arm?
I don't know what
Orba?
they're gonna do, but I know they know your face.
They don't. This is exactly what I'm saying. I don't think they do because they asked me to dress.
Because they asked you to wear a
specifically.
silly hat, so
Yeah.
it would be easier to identify you. That doesn't mean they don't know who you are, Erland. That just means that they're trying to make you an easier target.
Lord.
First of all, I'm not buying a silly hat.
No one's buying a silly hat. But you're gonna do it, so what was your plan? You didn't want help?
I'm telling you now!
As these three pass through Nakuzi, Orba visits the church to pray while Erland and Safira check in on Leto, who is preparing to bury his late husband later that day.
When I had Roy's body brought to the Navika burial grounds, I noticed a tattoo that I'd never seen before. Very small. It was between the two largest toes on his left foot. I made a sketch of it, if you'd like. Sure. And he sort of goes, disappears back from the door, and he comes back out. It just sort of looks like this, just a tornado or a spiral or something.
Brilliant. Yeah, that might be very useful.
Finally, these three arrive outside Celis's home in Naupa. Erland and Safira wait outside as Orba enters the home. Celis isn't there, but someone else is.
You see the face of Cliff Ironcloud walk through the door.
I come from, Salandriel.
There are those who would invoke my sister's name to get my attention, but I find that few can produce proof of such an interchange. Are you one such person?
She'll take the ring off and reach
He
forward.
sees the ring. I assume you know who Celis is. You came here looking for him. He's a talented mage and a close friend of mine. And he's able to verify the authenticity of certain things, even ones not magical in nature. I want you to bring this to him. Let him have a look at it. And depending on how that turns out, maybe we have a longer conversation. I'm telling Celis that you're coming alone. Don't make a liar out of me.
Yes, sir. Meanwhile, Beezaura and Graven travel the road to the coast. But tensions rise when Beezaura spots a familiar tiefling.
Do we have a problem?
Only if he stops.
Beezaura.
A while ago, I was offered chess pieces for
Just don't get too quiet.
information on Orba. And that is the man who asked me.
Should we nip this in the bud?
Just go after him.
Was that a question?
Yes.
Or a request? I didn't hear a question mark at the end of that. I heard just go after him.
The tiefling poses no immediate threat, and the two finally arrive in Wamparani Na, immediately stumbling on a back alley fight. Graven challenges the local undefeated Wilson Cleaver.
Alright. How about, a little match for a few minutes of your time and your vast knowledge?
And time seems to kind of slow down a little bit. Uh-oh. What do you come in with?
Head jab, head strike.
They both hit as he comes in with the body. Yes! And he falls backward and he kind of collapses to the ground and everyone kind of... I have a lot of money. And I use a PI to track down people talking shit about me. You want to find someone in this town? That's who I suggest you find.
Graven and Beezaura head to the Broken Crown station, hoping to find the PI there.
And there's a young dwarven man with a furrowed brow kind of sitting at the closest desk. He's holding two pieces of paper in his hand. They're pictures. And they seem to be very similar.
Oh, God.
Two pictures of Safira. You're welcome to inquire about contracts, but that one's not available to the public, as it were.
I was told that I might find a Villapont Willoughby here.
He does do work for us on occasion. He's not in today.
You haven't seen him at all today?
No, he was supposed to report, which usually means he's drunk somewhere.
With a lot to consider, Graven escorts Beezaura to Reciprocity, the high-end brothel run by the Obertis, known Light Whistle Chess Club members.
Don't speak.
Oh.
Close your eyes. Imagine a place of great beauty or deep comfort.
It's by the water? a beach, and I'm all alone. And there's nothing for miles.
Open your eyes and come with me. But she pushes the door open. And where there was a stark white room is a beach that extends out into infinity.
Beezaura diverts to the business at hand.
I never had a mind for magic, but I always had imagination, vision. I needed the help of magical practitioners to make my vision something I could share with others. Mr. Two's disappearance placed undue strain on not just my emotions, but on Mr. One's efficacy. Half as many mages means one doing twice the work. And a queen for the safe return of Mr. Two, alive and unharmed. But if I hear that you've been talking about any of the things I have told you here, you will die, and I will make sure of it personally.
And with Beezaura digesting the details of her newest...
Will Orba find Celis? Will Graven find Pockets? Will Erland find the perfect outfit that screams, "Hey, look at me, I'm Erland, come and get me"? Find out next time on Tabletop Notch.
It's this morning.
Welcome back. And only because I can see it and I couldn't see it before, would you mind scooting toward me? I had to publicly shame you because I forgot to do it before.
Shame her in the chat.
Welcome back, everybody, to Chapter 73 of A Peek Beneath the Veil. We have a lot of things happening on the two coastal or western and eastern ends of Navikapura, Upa and Wamparani-Na. And we head back to Wamparani-Na first, where Graven is sort of working his way toward the House of Wilson Cleaver, or perhaps Mr. and Mrs. Cleaver and Wilson Cleaver staying there.
Oh yeah, did I say I was staying with you?
Sorry, were you staying with Beezaura?
I think for now, yeah.
That's
Yes.
okay. We'll go back to the bar. I didn't know if you were
trying to
splitting
find
up.
Hatchet.
Graven's like, all right, break. Where are you going?
That's okay.
Back here.
We'll go back to the bar. So you guys come back down after speaking with the PI, and you guys again sort of return to this first floor, which is it's packed, it's crowded. The Raven is still on the wall. Occasionally you see people kind of waving their drinks at it or making faces trying to get its attention a little bit. The barkeep busy handing out drinks, taking people's orders. What do you guys do when you get
I'm just
down?
gonna stop with the first guy at the bottom of the
Sure.
stairs.
You do?
Excuse me.
Yep.
You see Hatchet around here?
And he points to a guy kind of at the far end. He's sitting at a table. He's with someone at the moment. There's two people at like a small table. They're both kind of enjoying a drink. And the one that he sort of seems to be sort of directing your attention to, and you kind of have to get up on your tippy toes to see over some of the heads. He's a wiry man with gray streaked hair and simple leather armor. He looks suspiciously similar to the man that you passed on the road and told you to meet Hatchet at all hands on deck. So much so that they could be brothers or twins or something. Like they look that closely identical to each other. So when he points, you're like, I know that guy and that's not Hatchet, but then you sort of think about it for a moment. It's possible that it's somebody else, but...
Okay.
As you man.
Alright, thank you.
Kin? Some kind of illusion?
Could be either.
What do you want from him?
She said that he might have a connection to number 2.
Right. Okay.
Might as well see about it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, you have to kind of push through the crowd, pass by a couple of the tables that people are sort of surrounding, push past people a little bit. You get to that back corner, and he's sort of having kind of a quiet conversation with the man across from him at the table. And he sees you guys, and he can immediately kind of tell that you're headed in his direction. Sort of gives you an eye a little bit, and he kind of leans in. And the guy gets up, and he moves, and he kind of sits back, and he waits.
Hello?
Hello? Looking to stretch your time a bit, are you? Most people that come looking for me are.
Hatchet, I presume?
In the flesh?
Can I ask you? Do you know much about, number 2? Who worked for Bertie?
No. I know a lot about Microl. Maybe we could talk about that.
Got a lot of customers around here.
Some. 2 more, maybe.
God. I think a product like that, you must be hard to people safely coming back over and over?
They find their way back to me.
How so?
I find that people who try it once usually don't just try it once.
You're pretty well known for doing this.
It's not illegal.
Was that your brother that we met along the road that pointed us in your direction?
Might have been. Handsome looking guy, right?
Sure.
Does he work with you?
Yeah, something like that.
Do you have other employees?
Nope,
Just your own business?
just me.
Any other products?
What you have in mind? I've been known to get my hands on things now and again. It's not what I'm known for, but maybe I can help you out.
Magical items?
What kind?
Something that might give.
Scare away ghosts.
Yeah.
It's for someone who already
Speak up now.
Someone who already has magical abilities to stretch their.
There's a man in town. His name's Paloma Franco. Tinkers with magic items. But he's gentle void through and through.
Ooh.
So unless you are, probably won't talk to you. I could go with you for a price.
You friends with the Gentle Void?
Yeah, I am.
Are you one of them?
Not officially, no.
You on your way?
I don't think so. We just do business together.
I see.
A
A lot of people do business with the Gentle Void here. Not unusual.
If the Gentle Void did put out any kind of request for help, where would one find that?
You'd probably want to go talk to either Erland or McKenna over at the Short Ports, or you could talk to Mohan Fowler at the Tall Ports. So, can I get you anything? Maybe you'd like to hear about my prices? Tempt you into it a bit?
You have different types of products.
That depends. You looking to stretch 15 minutes into an hour into an afternoon into a couple days? Dosage changes.
Wow. You made this where?
Don't think he's going to tell you that.
You never know.
Takes a long sip of his beverage, puts it back down.
What kind of a price for information on the number 2?
I don't know.
You never sold anything to him.
Can't sell something to someone you don't know.
Can I tell that he's lying?
Make an insight check.
Come on. No.
5.
Vibe. I mean, he seems like a guy who withholds in general, but you don't get the
Yeah.
sense in that particular way. Yeah. I mean, it certainly doesn't seem like you're breaking the ice with him in terms of being able to sort of get at what he might know, but... See, I don't give out a lot of information to strangers, you understand? Maybe if we got to know each other better.
How does one become a friend of yours?
Well, we always stretch time together.
Whoa. Fuck. Yep.
Where are you from originally?
Right around here.
And
You have a funny way of answering a question with another question.
Seems like both of us like to withhold some sort of information.
Alright, fair enough.
A lot of your customers are here at this bar.
I see some previous customers, yeah.
You dabble in your own product.
I do. You have a problem with that?
It just seems like it might get away from you.
I can tell you never tried it. It's an experience like no other.
Could you describe it?
No. You'll have to try it for yourself.
How much for the 15 minutes?
It's 2 gold for the weak stuff, 10 for the medium, and a 135 if you're looking to stretch time quite a bit.
And if we did some with you, that would gain your trust enough to have a little deeper conversation.
I find that when you crawl together, it feels like you've been through a lifetime together.
Graven?
My friend might be a little more uncomfortable with this than me, but perhaps we'll come back to you.
All right. I'm here mostly, so find me if you want.
Sure.
He goes back to you.
I just turned around. Would you want to do
Don't
that?
get too quiet.
Would you want to do that? I mean, he's definitely hiding
It's
things.
not the goal, but we've come up against plenty of dead ends.
So many secretive people in this town.
I've had enough of dead ends. I need to start moving forward.
It is frustrating, and it confirms what you've heard a lot sort of on your way up to the north, which is that people are largely distrustful of people they don't know, especially from the south, sort of into Vikapur. I mean, it's hard to break through to some of those people.
I don't know about you, but I've never been one for these back alley dealings, and if there was something that we could just get someone to have a cursed conversation with us, sure, I'll try it.
Do you want to do the 15 minutes?
We'll come back to this. I want to go see Cleaver now.
Okay, let's go.
All right.
You guys start to head in that direction.
Get Nancy.
Yeah.
There's so much drugs being offered to me. I just
Too many drugs.
I feel like the bell of the ball. They're already offering me drugs.
Raven's got something I can snap. This guy. I'm getting a dream sequence. I don't know what's
You better get on
happening.
that before it...
Beezaura's been offered.
You've got them all, and you're like,
I
all at once. My girl.
drove back to Bertie. I'm like, just give it. Here's 800. I don't know.
It's like a girl at Coachella.
It's another trip back to the western end of Naupa
Oh, God.
that puts you within spitting distance of the bridge over the Navika River. And as you walk along the row of houses, the road here is better fortified to account for the larger, heavier wagons and carriages that might be moving out of the city and across the country, not just between townships. Breaking up a number of dwellings that look very similar, there's a kind of small castle, but without the castle part, a tall exterior stone wall with a hefty 2-door gate. And as there's no proper keep sticking out above the walls, it seems like the inner bailey is fairly wide open, and the only layout that you've seen of this kind before is maybe like a training grounds, a place to practice archery, combat techniques, sometimes even spells, outdoors but also insulated from prying eyes. There's a guard stationed at that kind of 2-door entrance. He's got a spear in hand, wearing a chainmail coif, and leaning on a sturdy tower shield. There's sounds of clanging and metal coming from within, as well as a series of kind of grunts. You hear like a... You can hear sounds of combat. So Safira and Erland are the two sort of approach. I think you split from Orba.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, would we not have had to walk with Orba sort of to...
I don't think
here?
Orba's... It's not night time yet.
Oh,
I don't
it's
know if
not.
Orba's
Okay.
having it. I mean, you could have walked with them. Did you... Well, we can say that you did.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean...
Because
go
in
yet.
theory, she would want to... She's going
Yes.
like up
She's
here,
going that
right?
direction,
Yes.
yeah.
So you could have walked with them to Sarn's place.
Okay.
So, at the... Are we, like, at the guard?
Yeah, you can walk up to him.
Well, so, is this where we should perhaps split up?
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Safira's kind of giving her just, like, a pat on the back. Can't decide if she wants to give her a hug, so she's just, like, touching her shoulder and then just kind of...
Orba sees that and just gives Safira a hug.
Good luck.
It's going to be okay.
I'm allowed to be worried, okay? I'm allowed to be. It's fine. You're gonna be fine. You're gonna be great, and we're gonna see you tomorrow morning. First thing, right? And just tomorrow morning at the place.
As soon as she's done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good luck.
Thank you.
Sort of like, give her a nod.
Okay. Have fun. Be safe. Don't be crazy.
We will try. Yeah.
Don't be crazy. Okay.
And Tiefling, just if there's an opportunity.
Ask about you, I know.
Thank you.
Oh my.
You're gonna answer that question by not even using a real name. Tiefling,
Don't
can you
okay.
put in a good word?
For the record, I like it.
Okay.
All right. Good luck then.
Bye.
You guys split. You guys head toward
Orba
the
takes a
door.
breath. Thank God.
Oh my god!
Get those two off
Mom
my
and
back.
Dad never let me go anyway.
Oh my god. Where's the mic crawl? Please. It's like, please hit me, whatever it is.
We gotta hook
Opposite
up.
of my
30
roll.
goals,
Speeding
okay.
up.
We gotta hook up.
Yeah, so walk up to them.
Hi, we were here for the demonstration.
Yeah, they've already started in there. If you hurry, I don't
sorry.
think you miss too much.
Okay, great. You don't mind if we...
Is there a fee or?
Yep, 1 gold.
Oh, okay, sure.
Can we ask what to expect or just a demonstration of?
Yeah, Mr. Darrow has mastered numerous combat techniques over the years. He's providing a kind of demonstration. It's also kind of a graduation ceremony for his current students
Oh, nice.
before he accepts new trainees.
Oh, he teaches how many students in sort of generalized combat?
Yes, he has a number of expertises. People pick an area of expertise when they train with him, and they train with him.
Right.
Some people are here because they're interested in training, and others just come to enjoy the show.
No.
Okay, well, can't wait to see it. Thanks.
Please.
Give him the gold. Great. And he pulls the door open, allows you guys to step inside. And just through the gates, there's a kind of raised wooden seating area with the audience facing away from you, but in toward this kind of arena. And there's a diverse display of obstacles, training dummies, targets lined up, like wooden racks that seem to have little targets for, shooting with bows and crossbows. It seems that Mr. Darrow's reputation and skill draws quite a decent crowd. There's at least 30 to 40 people kind of watching on this little seating area, raised seating area. And another 10 or so that look like students. They're like clad in light armor and they're waiting around the perimeter of this little arena area, so waiting their turn.
Like how many? Like 10 or 50 or?
10,
10?
yeah,
Oh, sorry.
yeah, about 10 of students around these here.
Sorry.
And in the middle, a half-elf man with a neat chin-strap beard and a flashy set of gold-trimmed armor is currently squaring off against a tiefling woman. She's wearing some kind of more functional padding. And both of them are wielding 2 long rapiers, one in each hand. And they're moving quickly back and forth, kind of alternating between defensive and offensive positions. And with each kind of shing of sliding metal, you see the man smile and offer words of encouragement, kind of shh, good, and then kind of back and forth, stepping forward, stepping back, kind of parrying each other. There's one more exchange, ching, 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 of the metal. And finally, the tiefling woman slides one blade up to the guard of the elven man's rapier in one hand, and she pushes it aside. And she gives the other blade a window of opportunity to stop just below the man's chin. And he grins. Very nice. Ladies and gentlemen, graduating defensive duelist Selena Gabriel, and the whole crowd kind of applauds. Yeah. A brief moment while we set up for our next demonstration. Gives a bow, and you can see them kind of picking up some of the training dummies, moving them to the side, so they're kind of clearing things out. So you guys kind of step in, you can find a seat. And...
Yeah.
Can we kind of scan the audience and look, see if we can't pick up, like, a seat next to people who are maybe, like, either really sort of interested in commenting on what's going on?
Sure,
or...
give me an investigation check.
No, we can't. 6.
It's not that you can't necessarily find that exactly what you're looking for, but as soon as he sort of gave the reset for a new demonstration, a lot of people are chatting. People kind of, it seems like, as the guard described, there's people here who are prospective students. You see some people kind of leaning in and being like, yeah, well, that's I would want to practice that. And like, people talking about what they're seeing. So, I mean, it's happening all around you. It's not necessarily one group in particular.
And we can't sit by the students, right? Because they're like,
No, the students are out on that little arena field, whatever it is. Yeah.
Okay, so then can I try to kind of find a spot for us near some of the prospective
Yep,
students?
slide in, sort of. A lot of people kind of, they don't really notice you coming in, but they're kind of out. They're like watching, pointing at some of the people out there.
Anyone you're looking forward to, particularly?
Oh, I want to train with Mr. Darrow for his pugilism. He's a skilled hand-to-hand combatant, hoping to be one of his next students.
What sort of what are the sort of core courses he offers?
Lots, crossbows, rapiers, dual-wielding weapons, great weapons, polearms, shield techniques, all kinds.
Right. You don't happen to know where he was trained himself, do you?
I think he's trained all over. He usually talks afterwards, and you're welcome to go up
sorry.
and speak with him.
Right.
No, it's all right. Are you here to be prospective students?
Kind of just passing through, thought we would enjoy the show.
Oh, it's terrific.
We heard at the Upa Ale House that it's quite the show.
Yeah, I think some people are here just to enjoy the show. It's quite impressive.
Does he charge a pretty penny for these classes, or?
I think they're fairly expensive, yeah, but he has a lot of training, so you pay for that experience.
Sure.
Does he do anything other than teach? Does he work with the guards, for example?
I think he used to, but not anymore. I think he's full-time teaching at this point.
Nice.
And the students live at the facility with him, or?
I don't think so. I think you're required to have your own facility.
Oh, well. Let us know if there's anyone we should look out for. Anyone?
Yes. Well, the reason I'm here is my friend Marland, and he points at a guy, and the guy's holding like a two-handed hammer, like a great hammer. And he's like, my friend Marland's graduating today.
Oh, wow.
Great weapon fighting, so I'm hoping to see it.
It's impressive.
Yeah.
So what's the sort of run of show? A bunch of these demonstrations, and then he speaks afterwards?
I think technically they've all already graduated, but they're giving sort of a final performance. So they'll go through each of the techniques. You'll see the students who are trained in those techniques, and then they'll finish up.
Nice.
Oh.
Enjoy the show.
You too.
So he leans back, and again, they kind of go into this procession of combat, and you guys sit there and you watch, and there's. It was a little expensive to get in, but as you're watching it, you feel like you're kind of getting your money's worth. You see at first a sort of technique that's based around kind of charging at your opponent and tackling them in an effective way, and then
We
you see
can't
another
learn
one.
anything from this, as
Not
we're
just by
not
watching
really
it.
okay.
Yeah.
Damn.
Tackle people. Another demonstration comes out, and he has sort of split course between a heavy crossbow that they're firing at targets and hand crossbows. So he sees like some people like skill shooting little targets that are sort of arranged in a semicircle around that he shoots at. He has another person come out that does a rapier, but it's a single-handed rapier, and it's a little more sort of more artsy combat, not as functional necessarily, sort of rapier fighting. You see someone come out two students come out to do a grappling combat that are doing sort of hand-to-hand, both punches and sort of ground work as they're sort of wrestling with each other. You see his friend come out, Marland, with his great hammer, and they have a couple like big suits of like old like crimped and broken suits of armor that they've put on these dummies, and he sort of swings it around, and you can see that they're sort of practicing hitting the armor in the weak spots. He kind of hits it, and it kind of clung, and the armor falls off of the dummy, and it kind of crashes over. So you see him do his little demonstration. You see a couple of people come out that have various polearms, spears, glaives, and they're in these sort of like stabbing formations. He has them kind of advance and then effectively retreat, and then advance again in these sort of little formations of two. You see another person come out that seems to have almost sort of foregoing defense for offense. So he has a shield, and he shows an effective way to kind of throw the shield at your enemy and then come in for like a strike. So you're sort of distracting them while you're attacking them. And then you see a little more shield work. There's a couple of people that come out that are sort of effectively using their shield to block and shove. He has like very heavy, almost like weighted dummies that they're like shoving against to kind of practice the technique of pushing the line forward when you're fighting with a number of people with shields.
Are there any techniques that I recognize from my training at all that might indicate that he at least stopped by?
No, not necessarily. A lot of them are weapons and armor related techniques. It's not so much. I mean, some of the wrestling grappling moves could have been, but it's not like you're not like, oh, I recognize that technique.
I'm not seeing
like
flurry of blows or something like
you're not
stuff
seeing
like
something
that.
like, yeah, it's mostly weapons and armor and shields, so it's not hand-to-hand combat mostly, aside from the sort of grappling demonstration. So finally they finish up. All the students have kind of come out to do their thing. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm grateful for your time and consideration. As you see, all of my students are given the necessary tools and attention to succeed and supplement their current skill set. And I guarantee that you will see better results faster under my tutelage. To this day, I have never had an unsatisfied pupil, and I encourage you to speak with my graduates for their honest assessment of my program. Thank you. And interested parties,
may leave their name and information with Mr. Berg, my bookkeeper, and we'll reach out to you in the coming days to evaluate your eligibility. So please have a look around the grounds, enjoy, ask questions, and have a mug of Best West mead, courtesy of the Upa Ale House.
He sort of bows, nods to the crowd. People clap and cheer a little bit, and then people get up. You see some people going, like that guy that you talked to goes to his friend and sort of gives him the thumbs up for his little graduation ceremony there.
So, and I'm kind of saying this under my breath, how exactly do we want to go about this? Because I imagine that we're going to have to ask this question somewhat delicately. He's a contact, you say?
We don't know much else other than that he is some sort of contact.
So what do we ask him?
My best guess would be he's providing... Well, I mean, look at his skill set. He's providing some sort of training or muscle. I mean, maybe we start by asking some pupils, just sort of what it's like to train with him, speak in vagaries.
Yeah, I suppose.
Let's start with that.
I doubt anyone's gonna admit to...
Well, no, they might not know what they're giving away, is what
Or
I'm
I
saying.
suppose they might not think it's necessarily a bad thing.
Exactly.
Not everyone has the same attitude. But
So some people are chatting amongst each other. You do see, if you're looking for one of the students, the first woman that was using the rapiers, Selena Gabriel, seems to doesn't necessarily have friends or family here. She looks like she's getting ready to leave, so she's walking by the kind of seating area that you guys are.
So we'll go up to Selena.
Sure.
That was quite the performance.
yeah, brilliant demonstration.
Thank you very much.
What do you intend to do with your training?
It's just sort of a hobby, I suppose.
Right.
You know, you never know. I'm happy to defend my homeland if I need be, but I hope it doesn't come to that.
Are you from Navikapur?
Yes.
What made you so you wanted to train with him for,
Sandero's legendary. He knows all the techniques. He's very skilled.
what was it like sort of day to day here?
It was amazing. We fought, and then we ate, and then we fought more.
Well, surely he's just one man and there's so many students. Are you
Yes,
with him all the time? Does
He
have-
staggers the schedules. You train 4 times a week, so you're not there every single day.
Does he live here with you, or?
He lives here. I don't live on the grounds. I have a house.
Yes, but he lives here?
Yes, he sort of points to it. It's not a keep, but there is like a building sort of here in this surrounding area.
Well, seems like a great teacher.
Yes, it's terrific. I can't recommend him enough.
Worth thinking about it, honestly. I suppose a bit trepidatious by the price. It's quite expensive.
Yes, fortunately I come from some money, but I understand that that's a difficult barrier for entry for some people.
What do you do in town outside of dueling?
I'm a cobbler
In Naupa?
in Nakuzi.
Oh, does Sandero do anything else in town? Does he help with the guards? Does he work for?
I think once upon a time he was part of the militia, but he's full-time teaching now.
I suppose that's extremely interesting.
Yes. I suppose.
I mean, yes. I just suppose someone dedicating their life to teaching, with all that skill, I suppose it would just be a tremendous amount of. He could do anything. I suppose.
I think he's fought quite a bit in his life. Perhaps he's decided to settle down.
Does he mind sharing stories? I'm quite fond of them, you know.
No,
I've got some of my own.
he's happy, especially if he doesn't know you already. He loves to introduce himself.
You don't get many newcomers passing through here, I imagine. It's mostly people who are from this area.
Some people come to watch the graduation ceremonies that I don't know, but otherwise, yeah, it's mostly people I know.
Right.
Is he? This is a bit dicey. I apologize. Given the price, is he reliable? Does he show up to all sessions? Does he ever skip on schedules?
I've never heard of him missing a training session.
Oh, okay. That's good.
Yes.
Right, well...
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
She's like, what?
Good job.
Did I just...
He's stereotyping.
I'm concerned that unless we talk to this guy directly, and unless we know we talk to him alone, we might not get any information from him.
Well, I mean, he did say we could look at the grounds.
Yeah, Safira kind of like looks around.
Safira looks at the ground. No, she's done.
Did you want to talk to him while I perhaps sneak around a little bit?
I mean, the problem is I genuinely don't know how to ask. Are you involved in any capacity in...
Pretend to be interested in his training, try and get some stories from him.
Okay, I don't really want to tell stories of my own if I can avoid it. I'd not like to be identified as a former I almost said it, honestly,
All right,
to the
then-
other good woman, and I catch myself all the time.
Then do you want me to talk to him and you snoop around a little bit?
No. You're better at snooping, and I'm better at asking innocuous questions.
I could ask,
Innocuous questions. Innocuous was the operative word there.
I could ask him if there's any...
Innocuous
I'm
questions.
going to ask... Let me actually speak to him. Let me ask him if there's any work for someone from...
You're going to ask him for a contract?
But why not?
Well, I
There's
thought
no
you were looking
s-
for the bigwigs.
s-
This doesn't seem like one of
You
those.
could perhaps introduce me to one. It occurs to me now. It's no secret that I...
Okay, how about this? We tag team it, right? So you go, ask him questions. Your not innocuous questions or your innocuous ones, whatever. I do some snooping.
Great.
Maybe find something, don't find something, and then we just switch. And hopefully one of us gets something.
Love that.
Okay.
I'm going to approach him.
Sure, you start to walk over to him. He's sort of talking with someone, but he looks at you approaching and he kind of almost sizes you up. Not really. He's not sort of in a combative way. Just he clearly knows that he doesn't recognize you and he is about town, so he knows most of the people here. And he sort of says a polite sort of goodbye and thank you to the person he's talking to. I was hoping you'd come over. I make it a point to introduce myself to people I don't recognize.
Oh, that was an incredible showing.
Thank you very much. The credit goes to the students mostly.
Yes, there were techniques that I've never honestly seen before.
I'm so glad you enjoyed it.
I've trained a bit myself. I could perhaps be interested in your tutelage, but
May I ask where?
I trained at Atonement's End, actually.
Wow.
Have you heard of it?
Of course, yes.
I'm actually, if I may speak candidly, looking for contracts right now. Remission contracts, if you will.
I'm familiar with the concept, I think, yes.
Quite simply, any sort of contract where I can sort of prove my worth, my mettle, my skill set, if you will, and in exchange for a recommendation to...
And he sort of is piecing together, sort of, as you're saying, you're hoping to get that from me.
Oh, no, I'm simply being forthright about my training.
My apologies.
I'm simply being forthright about where I train.
Yes, no. I was fascinated by combat at an early age, so I've trained quite a bit, but never with the monks at Atonement's End. That is quite a privilege.
Would you... I'd be happy to show you some of our training. That's
I would love
presumptuous.
that. No, not at all. I think that my teaching schedule keeps me quite full. I'm not sure I have time to train myself, but that is very generous of you. Thank you.
Of course. Well, is there anyone that I could speak to about any sort of... I assume that you, as sort of a skilled fighter, would know of people who perhaps need skilled fighters in town.
I could give it some thought. I'd never had anyone ask me that necessarily, but perhaps. Just out of curiosity, you came here to just watch the show? Are you interested in training?
I honestly, at first I wasn't, but after seeing some of the demonstrations, there's much I could learn. I'm primarily hand-to-hand. There's certain weapon. The duelist was incredible.
We have programs for rapier dueling, heavy weapons, all kinds.
About how long does training last?
Well, it lasts for 4 months. 3 months, sorry. 3 months, 4 days a week for 3 months, a total of 48 sessions. We feel that that's a comfortable range that by the end, you become a master in that field.
And how much does it cost?
It's 18 gold per session. Comes out to a total of 864 gold over the course of 3 months.
Right. Initially, we were simply stopping through town and, for perhaps a while, but the Ube Ale House recommended that we swing by here for the performance. And
time is an issue then.
No, honestly, not necessarily. Like I said, I'm currently looking for contracts, so...
We have an accelerated program as well.
How does that work?
Well, it's 5 sessions over 5 days. Far condensed. 112 gold per session. Total of 560 gold. And it includes a regulated diet and strict performance monitoring.
So you live here? Or?
Yes. The accelerated program lives on the grounds. That way we can safely administer and track the use of the myconid extract.
Oh, so you administer myconid extract in order to help people learn quicker?
Yes, we find that the accelerated program helps you reach a mastery level far faster than normally.
I have to ask, I've heard some scary side effects of myconid use. Have you experienced any of that with your expedited training?
I know the use of myconid extract is controversial to some, which is why I don't make it the only available method of training. But for those people such as myself who like to push the boundaries of what your body can do, we offer that as an option. And we have never had a problem. We go through a very rigorous physical examination before the start of your accelerated program to make sure that you are able and safely can be administered.
What sort of, like a physical or some sort of...
Sort of, yes. We administer very small doses and see if your body reacts poorly to the myconid extract at first.
And what happens if it does react poorly?
You can't take the accelerated program.
I've heard that people can be severely become severely ill.
We find that with the very small doses that we apply, we've never had anyone get more than just not feeling well for a day.
Does that seem true to me?
Maybe it's true.
Come on. Come on, baby.
11?
11. You can't get anything from it, but it also seems very practiced. Like, he's clearly given this pitch to lots of people. Like, he's given it's safe to use and we keep careful track of it. So in that sense, it feels a little put upon, but it doesn't seem like he's like hiding anything by saying.
And you use myconid extract yourself then?
I have, yes.
Regularly still?
No. Again, I like to test the limits of my own body, and I believe I can safely help others do the same.
And this is... Forgive me for my lack of awareness. This is extract administered in small doses allows you to learn quicker,
yes.
Perform faster.
It allows you to cram multiple sessions of training into just a few hours. So you can train for longer with less sleep and with less nourishment.
Is there anyone who's been through your sort of extensive training that I could speak to, perhaps as a referral?
None of the graduates here. This was a graduate of the standard program, all of the students that you see here today with their demonstrations. But you could speak to a man who got part of the way through the accelerated program. His name is Vane Mohakra. He's a Goliath. He works at the ports.
And why did he stop the accelerated program?
It was my understanding that it was a financial issue.
I see.
Not a physical one.
He won't be offended if I ask him about it?
I don't think so.
All right, this is fascinating. Is there any way, if I were interested in training, is there like a sign-up window?
Yes, he sort of motions over that guy, Mr. Berg. My bookkeeper, if you'd like to put your name and how he can reach you. We evaluate our students, and if you're interested, we'll have a further chat.
All right, well, thank you. I'll think... So I have to sign up today if I do want to do this?
Just an interest list. You don't have to pay anything today.
All right. Well, thank you. That's all very useful.
Thank you. I look forward to hearing about Atonement's End if and when we train together.
Yes, of course.
Safira, what have you been doing this time?
So I kind of want to take like a little tour around the perimeter. I want to just have my ears open and see if I can't listen to anyone's conversation. And I guess I'm looking for... I mean, I need your nose. I want to just drag Ryan's face around and just be like, where is it?
I will
Tell
say
me
the
where
grounds
it is.
are pretty big, so if you're touring the grounds, there's a lot of time where you're not near other people.
Okay.
But you can take a look around. I mean, it seems very well stocked, armor, weapons, training dummies, targets, all kinds of things. It's a great sort of
Do I
training
see
space.
any what looks like a storage shed or
make an investigation check.
Come on.
This is the bathroom, right?
Oh no. That's a natural one.
The only building that you see is the one that seemed to be indicated as his quarters. That's that are on the ground.
So Safira just stares at his quarters.
She's like, maybe he's keeping something there.
Interesting.
What's under his bed?
Okay. Well, then I suppose I'll just kind of. Can I go over to where the people are signing up,
Sure.
and see,
Yep.
just kind of linger around?
There's a few
there?
people in line that seem to be kind of waiting for, and he's writing away at the thing. Is there anything in particular you're looking for?
I just might kind of to the person who's. Are you signing up for one of the programs?
Yeah, I want to sign up for the grappling training.
Oh, nice. Very nice.
You?
I'm thinking about it, yeah, but I've not got very much,
Which specialty?
Well, could be just hand to hand, Fancy myself a bit of a fighter.
Me too, hence the grappling.
Right. You've heard good things about this place.
Yeah, excellent things. Do you not know much about it?
I
There's
mean,
a course catalogue.
Oh, there is.
He sort of goes up to
brilliant.
the
I
front
feel
table.
dumb for not seeing it.
Oh shit.
Wow.
So there's a course catalog. This part on the right, we can address later, but that's not on the course catalog. So it looks like this. There's this column here, which is side effects of the advanced accelerated program, but you see just the listings of the things.
I am,
not the
I
right
am just
column.
looking
Yep,
at
you're
this.
just looking at those. So it says, so it says what the different skills offer. Also, to the people in the chat, what effectively Sarndara teaches are what are called feats, which is an optional 5e rule. So on the levels where you normally can get a like stat increase, you guys increased your dexterity, your strength, whatever. Instead of doing that, an optional rule is to take feats, which give you like very specialized skills. So Sarndara is effectively saying he can train you in a feat without spending the attribute points. Although the accelerated program, obviously, you lose an attribute point, as you might see.
And a bunch of gold.
Yes. So it's expensive, but it doesn't take the place of the attribute points.
And this doesn't have anything on it about, like, the accelerated program, does it?
It does not say anything about the
Okay.
accelerated program. You can take a look at that for a moment.
Okay.
Did you want to, or?
Yeah, no, I'm assuming there's nothing, like, if there's this information, is there not, like, any information on pricing, like, next to it?
There is
or-
not pricing
okay.
on it.
Oh, it's one of those.
Yeah.
Oh, you have to ask.
Yeah.
Okay, I can't afford it.
Call them.
It depends what's in season.
If you have to ask,
If you have to ask, you can't afford it, yeah. Okay, so I'm just gonna kind of browse through this.
So you see that Erland has finished up talking to Sarn as well. So Erland, you see Safira browsing the course catalog.
Looks promising. Thinking about signing up?
I mean, some of this stuff is cool. Find anything?
Yeah. He's pretty forthright about his training using myconid extract.
What? Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So you can learn all of this in something like 3 months, or you can learn it in about 10 days using
5 days.
5 days using myconid extract.
Oh, fuck, really? So, this... Okay. So he's just told you that?
Yeah.
Right, well, I guess the attitude is different here.
Yes, apparently. He didn't have any work for me, but yeah, I
Can
mean,
we talk
similarly to
someone
everyone.
Who did this?
I only got one name, a Goliath named Vane Mohakra, who works, I believe he said at the ports.
Did he say that they'd had any problems with it? Did he not tell you that it might be dangerous?
Well, he said that they do. It seems like perhaps we should walk away from the sign-up area. Sort of,
Right.
I'm gonna sort of guide Safira away.
Yeah.
He said that they sort of do. I'll fill her in on the sort of. They sort of dose people with a low dosage of myconid extract to see if the effects are negative, which I assume are the effects that we've heard of. He gave us his name, Vane Mohakra. At the ports, I suppose we go. He didn't finish the training, but I suppose we can get a glimpse inside sort of accelerated training with myconid.
So what happens? Say you put down your money to take this class, right? Did you ask them what happens if you take the myconid and then
No, I didn't
you're
ask about the
screwed?
financial refund policy. I was sort of interested more in...
Well, you make fun, but there's a real reason that I think it would be useful for us to have that information. What happens to these people? Is he sending them to someone? Does he send them to a doctor, to a healer? Does he have an in-house
we can
healer?
ask Vane Mohakra, because Vane Mohakra did not complete his training. He
Oh, he
ran
didn't?
into financial difficulties.
Well, or maybe he ran into other difficulties.
Exactly. I think it's worth inquiring.
Where is this guy? Did you find out?
The east by the ports.
Of course, okay.
So this is not some
Well, I'm
sort
glad
of
we came
clandestine operation. He's
No,
fairly
clearly not.
forthright
I mean,
about
they're
it.
advertising.
Yes. So
Yeah, I mean, it's like, it's definitely not clandestine, but you do notice that the accelerated program isn't
Yeah,
on
I'm
the
kinda-
course catalog. So it's like, he only mentions that if someone seems to be interested in it. He doesn't sort of lead with that.
it seemed like a well-practiced sales pitch at the least. So he has some sort of distributor in Navikapura, which is sort of no secret,
And
I suppose.
how much? It's expensive, I'm
Extremely,
assuming, right?
yes. Hundreds.
Oh,
Hundreds.
it's too much. We can't do it.
500 gold or something, 125 per session, something like that.
So who's the target demographic for this? Who's doing this? I mean,
well, Selena was a hobbyist, a wealthy hobbyist.
So she was part of the...
No. So part of the program itself is even more expensive. It's only 800 gold in total for the 3 months
But
of
that
training.
I understand more. If you're a son or daughter of a wealthy family and you want to learn how to do a fancy duel,
Well,
then
if
I
you're the
understand.
son or daughter of a wealthy family who wants to learn a little bit quicker.
I mean, a lot a bit quicker. It's not a little bit quicker. 5 days versus 3 months? I mean, what is...
For someone like you who might be passing through.
But that's interesting, isn't it? Because that would have to be targeting people who are passing through, isn't it?
Or again, we can ask this Vane Mahakra,
No, but
who is
who's
classmates
doing
with.
that? I mean,
Vane
who's-
Mahakra.
Okay.
He lives here. He's not passing
No,
through.
I mean, we'll ask him, but...
Some people aren't as, put off by this as we are.
Yes, well, I think we have good reason to.
I
But most
agree.
people probably aren't as educated on the topic.
I agree. I'm curious as to whether or not people have experienced any negative side effects and what has happened to
He
them.
didn't mention it. Does he use it himself? Did you ask?
He has, yes.
Does he still?
He seemed to indicate not recently, but who knows.
That's interesting. I wonder why he stopped.
People use this casually, regularly. They
You
don't
would be
understand.
familiar with that, would you?
No, I'm saying since we've been here, it's not illegal.
Oh, I know it's not.
That's what I'm saying, it's not. People don't know the horrors that we saw.
I know they don't. I'm just wondering, I mean, I'm sure, here's what I don't believe though. I don't believe that they haven't seen any negative side effects. The guy's hiding something. I mean, surely one of those people has come in and something bad's happened to him. I mean, it's just balance of probability.
I agree, but I don't know if we're going to find anything out from him.
Probably not, but
I
I mean,
think-
it's brilliant that he was willing to share that with you. Great that we got a name. I mean, I wasn't expecting nearly as much information. Frankly, I got nothing. I just kind of walked around.
Well, maybe...
He lives up there. So
I'm pretty sure. I don't know for sure.
You may have said it once.
Perhaps we check out the maze before heading back to the...
yeah, I mean, we've got time now. I don't think I'm gonna. Do you think I should ask?
Oh,
him?
I'm going to sign up just so they inquire with me, just to keep the contact going.
Oh, okay.
So I'll look through this and sign up.
Yeah. So when you go up to the thing, you don't have to have the conversation, but he asks for a name.
I'll give him my name.
Okay. And just first name?
First name.
He asks for a place that he can reach you.
Can I give him two? Can I say either Ube Ale House or the where were we in Nagarwas?
The Inn of
Nagarwas.
Yep. And then he asks for, even you're not committing to it, but he asks for the discipline that you might be interested in.
That's what I'm going to take a quick look at.
Oh, okay, great. Think about that.
Did you want to sign it as well, or just
Any.
For the mic in it?
no
class?
for the? Well, I mean, I'm going to sign up.
Again, just an interest list. You're not required
Yeah.
to put any money down. This is purely all these people are saying I might be interested in things.
And just fight for fun.
Sure, it's an inn.
Do you think you should have both of the names or just
Do
one?
I?
Do you think? I mean, I'm worried about. Are you worried about putting a name on this thing?
No,
Okay.
I need people to know I'm here right now. Perhaps
Okay, sure.
if you don't,
I might not want that.
I'll
as
sort
much,
of
so I'm
walk
not
back
gonna-
over to him and be like, if you don't want that, then I'll
I
just keep
I
it.
don't actually want that.
All right,
So
great, just me then.
yeah.
That's finished. By the time you guys are done, you're exiting through the gates, you look up at the sky, and the sun has very much set for the most part,
Boy.
truly falling down below the horizon. And with the sun going down, crossing the bridge, heading west was a kind of charming quality to it. Lights from the town reflecting off the water that remind you of staring out your bedroom window across the Hatun Sea. You turn right, and you depart from the path, using the river as a guide, carefully inspecting every bit of foliage that might look out of place or uniquely colored. So far, nothing. And you try to still the beating of your heart as you think about how your journey across onto Suyu is culminating in you being here, now. Alone again. But this time not relying on vague instruction or a lack of options. You feel bolstered by purpose and the notion that what you carry seems explicitly tied to you, and that you weren't just chosen to make a delivery as you once may have thought. You were chosen because you have something that others don't. And that's a sentence that could rarely be uttered about your life at the Halls of Transmutation. A place where you had nothing but a curious mind that eventually led to you standing here on the riverbank. You look up, and your wandering thoughts have taken you further off the path than it felt. Still next to the water, but the bend in the river means the bridge is out of sight behind you. How long have you been walking for? You're not sure. But you feel a tickle on the top of your head. And you look up to see the drooping branches of a weeping willow. You reach up, and you pull down a nearby leaf, and examine it closely in the dark. Just a bit of light coming in from the moon, to see that it's tinted a bright yellow, which stands in contrast to the dark greens that you're accustomed to in and around Vikapur.
Not wasting any time,
I'm thinking. I'm assuming I've seen no people.
No. You saw some people as you were exiting over the bridge, but once you peeled off the path, you have not crossed by anyone.
Any wildlife of any kind either?
Not right along the riverbank, no.
Can I, sit beneath one of these trees for about 10 minutes and cast Detect Magic ritually?
Yeah.
Okay, I will do that.
Orba sits. She focuses her mind. She puts a hand on her spellbook and she kind of goes over in her head all the motions that have led to you being able to sort of carefully and at your discretion cast this Detect Magic spell. Something that someone of your station could have never accomplished. But you at the Halls of Transmutation, with the help of Salandriel, have learned things beyond your wildest dreams when it comes to magic. And the minutes pass. And you have so much going through your head that you seem to close your eyes and you open them, and 10 minutes have gone by like that. And you look around. And you immediately detect a circle of illusion magic glowing around the base of the tree. Some modification of maybe the illusory script spell that allows the caster to trace a line on the ground that, after circling the tree, goes off and leads deeper into the woods. As if to be followed.
I will follow that.
You move through, and the dark gets darker. Rustling of leaves, and the occasional growl or howling in the distance. Kind of paint this forest as brimming with nocturnal life. But clinging to your singular objective, you push away any senses of fear or trepidation. Cliff would not have sent you here if it wasn't safe, right? The line continues on, and time is difficult to gauge. You think you're maybe 10 minutes from the tree, but it could be longer. And the line stops, 50 feet or so in front of you. You get to the end, and you're at the base of a large boulder, big enough to be a fixture in this wooded area. It's become overgrown with kind of moss over time. But it does seem too small to sort of have a hidden laboratory in it on its own. But there is an archway that's been carved into the stone, and a wooden door that fills the gap. But it's angled slightly, almost as if it's leaning away from you. So you imagine that if you entered through the door, you'd have this sensation of kind of lurching forward into the dark. It's quiet for a long time. You stand there.
If I turn and look behind me, do I still see the magic and
Yes,
the lines?
the line remains, yes.
And you said it was for only about 50 feet. Can I still see the tree it originated from?
Oh, no. It's been like more than 10 minutes that you've been walking.
Oh,
You're
I
50
see,
feet
sorry.
away from the door.
Oh,
yes,
I
you
see.
definitely cannot see the tree behind you. You are well into the woods at this point.
Okay. Well, I guess at least I can still see the lines.
Mhm.
Okay.
The line is still there.
Okay. I'm just gonna walk toward the door.
And
I'm gonna open the door.
it's locked.
I'll give it a light couple raps.
You hear the knocks kind of echo out in the forest around you. You're not sure sort of how much noise you should or can make. And you wait. And then then there's a metal sliding noise as a viewing hole is opened and a pair of eyes stare back out at you from the other side of the door. There's a beat, and then and it closes. And the door opens. A human man stands before you. He's got an iron staff in his right hand, a crescent moon sculpted at the top. And after sort of waving his hand over, it begins to glow in a way that you've seen before, the effects of the light cantrip, rather than a common source of flame. Pieces of metal in various shapes have been woven into his silky blue robe, near the neck and the wrists, almost like he's wearing jewelry, but they're not separate from the shirt, they're part of it. And they reflect and absorb the light so they glitter when he shifts his weight. He has very much the look that you've seen in portraits and textbooks back at the halls of like the classic wizard. He has a very sort of old world presence about him as he sort of embraces the traditions of the look of the old wizard. He has just a tuft of a beard at the end of a pointed chin, one that shifts asymmetrically to the left as he smiles at you. You must be the tiefling that I'm waiting for. My name's Celis. What's yours?
Orba.
And he sort of crosses one hand over the other while still holding the staff, so he's got one hand kind of across his body. I understand that you have something that Cliff would like me to take a look at.
Yes, sir.
Would you like to come inside?
I'd love to. Thank you.
And he steps to the side and allows you in.
Orba gives him a little bow as she goes by.
And he leads you down this stairwell that leads deeper into the ground, sort of underneath this boulder or portion of the forest. And he talks to you as you walk. The staircase is long enough that you don't kind of immediately hit whatever room you're headed toward. There's sort of a quiet tapping of your feet as the two of you walk single file down, him behind you as you walk ahead. You've traveled a long way to get here.
Yes.
And do you know why?
Vaguely, yes.
You have placed great trust in Cilantro, if that is indeed who has sent you.
Yes, I have. And she has for me as well.
If you're allowed to speak with Cliff, then what? Is this where your mission ends? Where will you go?
I found myself asking a similar question.
You continue to walk. And at the bottom of the stairs, you find yourself in a kind of small, it looks like an underground kitchen. There's a currently lit fireplace with a chimney that goes up into the ceiling, presumably out to the surface. There's a countertop with a plate and a few sliced pieces of cheese and hardtack crackers. And there's a table in the middle of the room with 2 chairs. And stacked on the table are 3 or 4 tomes, volumes. And one of them is open, and it has a magnifying glass kind of lying next to it for easier reading. You take a look at the surface of the book, the writing on it, the sigils, the runes, and it looks awfully familiar to something that you have in your possession. The way that the lines kind of move and line up with each other, something that isn't quite a language but isn't quite a symbol either. And the book has 2 pages open. It's sort of written on both pages, although having used the comprehend languages spell, you know that it's not necessarily a language. And he motions to one of the seats. Please, sit.
Thank you.
Would you like some tea, Orba? I'm making some for myself.
Yes, that's very kind, thank you.
And takes the little platter. Feel free to nibble.
Thank you very much.
Puts the platter down. And he takes a little strainer that has some kind of leaves and herbs and stuff. He's already been heating the water in the cauldron, takes sort of scoops out, and he sort of strains them through, so it kind of makes these little cups of tea into these little cups again. He takes his time. He doesn't talk while he does it, sort of concentrating on the leaves and the smells. You can see the room kind of filling up with a little bit of the aromas of kind of mint and berries that he's using to make the tea. And finally, he takes the 2 cups and he comes over. And as he's doing the tea, you kind of take a look around, and there's not much in this room. You see the tomes, And there is a door, presumably leading to another room that's currently closed.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, there's not much in here.
Mm-hmm.
And he comes over with the tea, and he sets it down.
Much appreciated. Thank you.
He takes a long sip.
Or we'll match that.
So, why are we here?
Salandriel gave me her ring to, I guess, validate me for Cliff. I understand that a lot of people wish an audience with him, so she had the foresight to give me something, and Cliff needs it examined.
It's not exactly Cliff's ring, though. You may not know that.
What do you mean?
He takes the tome that's open, and he slides it toward you.
This is an ancient runic cipher. Do you know what a cipher is?
Yes, I believe so. It's a book of code, no?
That's right. Yes, it's a code. Not many copies of this lying around anymore. And inside are hundreds of pages of partial letterings in a language no longer used. It's an old infernal. And this is just one volume of thousands. One could write a note that seems incomprehensible, but when held up to the light in front of the correct page, it forms letters enough to read. So you see, if you have the book and the page, you can read it. Of course, the difficulty is not just in having the note and the book, but in knowing which of the thousands of pages to hold yours up to. Because if you hold it up to the wrong page, it shows nothing. Which is why, at the bottom of the pages, he puts his tea down, there is a key. Let me show you.
And he puts on a pair of kind of small spectacles that he takes out of his pocket, loops them over his ears.
I'm going to cast Comprehend Languages. Would you like to read along with me?
Yes, I would.
Do you know the spell?
I do. Yes, I'm just gonna cast
He
it.
sort of casts it. And he pushes it over to you.
You see, now most of this page is gibberish. But at the bottom, you see two words, and you do,
Where he points at the bottom of the page of the book.
It says, green apple.
Now look at this next page. He flips the page.
See at the bottom? It says, ceramic elephant.
And he flips a couple more pages. You see these combinations of words as he keeps flipping them.
So, to bestow a message to someone using this cipher, you would give them the encoded note and some way to indicate the page that it matches to. Now take a look at this one.
And he closes that book. And he gets another one. And it seems to have a little piece of cloth stuck into it. And he puts his finger in and he opens the page. And he points to the bottom of the page and he turns it around and points to it. And you take a look and it says, Sapphire Ring.
And you see now, you have an irrefutable way to prove whether or not Salandriel ever intended for you to meet with her brother. If you have the page and the ring.
I do.
Would you like to read it? And I will warn you, and there will be no hard feelings. If you hold the page to the book, and it says nothing, if it's gibberish, I am afraid Salandriel did never intended for you to meet with Cliff, and I must turn you away.
Why would she give me a valid item then?
You are not the only one she sent, and I believe some of them were meant to be decoys, so that someone would reach us here. I don't know if you were the real one or a decoy. Do you understand?
Yes. Have any of the others been here?
Why don't we take a look at your page first?
Oh.
I was also just warned that if I try to understand the page, I might be harmed.
I think you're safe here.
Promise?
Yes.
Orba's gonna reach into her bag and get out.
You can hear it kind of.
Flattens it nice and smooth on the table. Okay.
The sapphire ring page and yours. And he slides the book over to you. And in addition to that, he once again lights up the end of his staff. And he holds it over the table towards you. You can hold the pages up to the light so you can compare them.
Oh my god.
Take a light.
Oh my god.
This is his light that he's letting you use. And Orba holds out her page that she's been carrying for this.
Stop!
And he turns the book and turns it to the page that has Sapphire Ring written on it.
So,
Hold them up together. And if they make words, read them out. Well,
I can read it.
What does it say?
The gods are not forever. The mortal makes the divine. I am a reaper. It is my time.
and that's where we'll pick it up. As Orba speaks the words from her page.
What does that even?
We will find out what that means next week on Tabletop Notch.
Oh my god. We will not find out what that means.
I am the Reaper? Oh god.
We'll find out some more information.
Orba has been carrying the page
Maybe I should
Oh my
tell people
God.
about
for
her
so
past.
long
Oh my god.
and reads it out loud as the words finally come together. And she remembers that moment where she tried to read it just using comprehend languages back when she first learned the spell and was unable to.
Badass.
And it pieces together in her mind for the first time.
Do I know what language the...
He said it was an old dialect of
Infernal.
Infernal,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Oh
that's where
my
we'll pick it up
goody
next
gods.
Hey, does this
Wow.
look
Oh my
familiar?
goody gods,
Does this
indeed.
mechanic look familiar?
Nope.
Oh my god.
Ringing no bells?
Oh my god. You know what?
Oh.
It took me so long to realize what you were just referring to there.
Plenty to see and do. We will also definitely at some point backtrack in time a little bit because you guys, before it was dark, you were headed over to Mr. Cleaver's
No
place.
worries.
Yeah.
That was intriguing.
But that is where we will pick it up next week
my
and find out what
God.
Orba and Celis have in store for us.
Okay.
Do you think for a second you might be a decoy for like 1 second?
I thought for a second, I was like, if she's a decoy,
I was
that'd
like,
be so
no
sad.
way.
Celis is like,
I'm that would just
sorry,
be so
bitch.
He takes out a gun.
Can you read it? Can you read it?
You've never been here either.
Yeah, he's like palming a stiletto and he's like, "Can you read it? What does it say?"
Oh, you're taking a long time.
No.
God.
Before I forget, Comrade Tortel resub for 22 months. Thank you so much.
Hey. We hope you enjoyed your new addition to the Captain's Log at the beginning of the stream. And we'll play also at the end of the stream.
I don't know if we want to do it now or next week, but happy early birthday.
Oh, I didn't know where you were going with that.
I was like, I don't know if we were reading after, before, whatever, but happy early birthday.
Happy early
Yes. Rolling that one.
October's the best.
Do it right now.
15!
Looking up for your birthday.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a great year.
Thank you guys so much for joining us, as always. A lot to see and do next week on Tabletop Notch. We will see you then. Have a lovely night. Have a lovely weekend.
Lord.
See you next
Oh
week.
my
Thanks.
god.
you